DennisPrager.com.
There are fatalities as well as injuries in a fire that engulfed a high-rise apartment complex in the Spanish city of Valencia.
4 people have been confirmed dead. Another 15 were injured. Several of those are still in hospital, and several of those are firefighters. We don't have a theory yet as to how this fire started, but eyewitnesses have spoken about the awning of a balcony which they saw burning very early on in the fire. So some eyewitnesses were saying they thought that might have started the blaze.
The BBC's Guy Hedgecoe. The Prime Ministers of Hungary and Sweden have wrapped up a defense agreement and will expand Hungary's fleet of Swedish-built fighter jets. The deal will pave the way for Hungary's ratification of Sweden's long-delayed NATO bid. This is a result of a meeting today in Budapest between the Hungarian Prime Minister and his Swedish counterpart. News and analysis, townhall.com. Toyota is recalling some of its larger vehicles.
The recall affects tens of thousands of Toyota Tundra pickups, Sequoia SUVs, and Lexus LX 600 SUVs from model years 2022 to 2024. The company says the automatic transmissions may not immediately disengage when shifted into neutral, so the vehicles may still creep forward with engine power still getting to the wheels. That raises the risk of a crash. Dealers will update the transmission software to fix the problem, with owners being notified by late April. I'm Jackie Quinn.
A woman who traveled to Syria as a teenager to join ISIS has lost her appeal of the British government's decision to revoke her UK citizenship. Authorities withdrew her British citizenship on national security grounds soon after she surfaced in a Syrian refugee camp in 2019. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy, it's the good one, folks. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to it.
Yes.
It's a festive Friday.
'Tis.
It's going to be mid-60s today, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
70s this weekend, 70s and 80s, I think, Sunday. And then next week, not so good.
Rhiannon's already harping on me about when they're going to open the outside pool. She's like, but it's going to be 80 next week. I'm like, yeah, but...
Gotta wait till May on that one.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I know it feels... She's like the trees. Some of them wanting to bud right now.
Yeah.
And a little early.
Yeah, I saw a few trying to bud yesterday, actually. A couple of buds popping out.
Yeah, was it Wednesday? I was bitty bopping around, walking around. And, yeah, I noticed some of the trees, too. And I was like, oh, look, they're already... like the forming of little buds, and I'm like, it's February. This ain't good.
Right. You did excessive amount of walking around on Wednesday.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was because I was visiting. I had meetings like downtown, so I just walked all of them.
Mike's brain works a little different than mine does. Mike's like, it's within 3 blocks. I'll walk.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's at the end of the street. I'm going to drive there.
Right.
It's like my shoe needs to be tied. Well, I might as well drive to get there.
That was one of those videos I saw online the other day where it was literally they showed a guy like he's sitting there with his cell phone camera, and he's sitting at the office, the place of work, and it's just showing this. Like, you can tell he's like on a corner parking lot somewhere.
Right.
And then there's this road, and then there's like a neighborhood across the road. And you see this house, like literally the first house on the corner of the road over there. This car backs out, tries to cross the street, parks right there, and he's at work.
Nice.
And he was like, yeah.
Yeah, the commute's terrible.
Yeah. That they were kind of commenting on the, really? You drove to work?
I like my creature comfort, so sorry.
Well, if it was like a bad day, I'd have been like, okay. But it looked like a pretty nice day.
Yeah, it was
like,
fantastic.
Come on, you walked the 200 feet to the building here.
Yeah, it was pretty. The sun was shining, the grass was still brown, but it's getting there.
The way we used to it here. But happy Friday.
Yes.
And if you do walk, I think you'd be good this weekend. Next week, you're going to have to put some rocks in your pockets. But they're talking winds and all that. But it is what we do. It's New Mexico. So the other most awesome thing about Fridays, it is a McDonald's Friday.
Yes.
Happy McDonald's Friday to everybody out there. Big thank you to McDonald's.
Coming in clutch this week too.
Yeah?
I got the
you know what? I've just been, I'm busy and stuff, but I don't think I've done McDonald's. I haven't had a McDonald's since in a couple of weeks, actually. I've been busy and haven't had a chance to get my fix on my fish sandwich or nothing.
I spent 6,000 of my points and enjoyed the new, not the new double Big Mac, but the new Big Mac, as in with the new style beef.
Gotcha. The I guess they could say revamped Big Mac.
That's right. They're making their burger patties tastier now. They're using diced onions in the cooking process to actually kind of inject a little flavor into it.
I haven't had the new Big Mac. I've had the double Big Mac because I'm a gluttonous bum. But it is tasty. It's because it's basically built the same way as the new Big Mac, just more of it.
It's just so much sandwich. Like, I will say this, when you get a properly built, and that's the other thing, is the one I got on Wednesday, it was picturesque. It was done like they thought they were going to give it to somebody important. It was stacked right. All the pieces were there. There wasn't too much of any one ingredient.
Right.
And that's hard to get in your mouth. I can't even imagine having to unhinge my jaw to get a double Big Mac in there.
Yeah, as I said back when I first tried it a couple weeks ago, it's not a driving sandwich.
No.
And it is a two-handed sandwich.
The Big Mac in general, not a driving sandwich.
No, it is not. But at least with the OG Big Mac, you can kind of one-hand it.
Kinda, yeah.
Kinda. No chance with the big. Now, granted, I have outrageously tiny hands, but even in my normal-handed people would need a two-hander on it.
Them little hands make my Mac look so big.
Yeah, they need a hand model for that thing. I'll make it look like King Kong. But it is tasty because you're right. It's like the Big Mac, but a little bit more just I don't know,
risque.
Tasty. Yeah, just a little more upscale. You know what I mean? Just a little more.
It's like the Big Mac's older brother that's sort of into like nefarious stuff.
Yeah.
Like
it's kind of like when your teenage boy finally discovers the shower and decides to, clean themselves all the time.
Yes, it's all that between three buns. Boy, if that's not a ringing endorsement for the Big Mac.
I mean, before you used to seeing it this way all the time, and I was like, oh, the boy's showering now.
It's like finding yourself for the first time. If that's not, that's McDonald's. I really hope you're paying attention because that's your next ad campaign. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. He's washing it.
Absolutely. So.
Oh, that's glorious.
Sorry, you got me going now.
That's glorious.
Reel it in.
Did I just see that HGTV is changing their name to BBC Home and Garden?
Did they get bought out by BBC?
What? Maybe that's just a Roku thing. I don't know. Everybody's changing their names and weird stuff now.
Yeah,
hard
bless
to keep track. God bless you. It's like when Spike TV became the Cosmopolitan Network.
Well, that thing's like swapped 16 times because it was way, way back in the day.
Yeah. Well, TNN.
The Nashville Network.
So it went from TNN to TNN. It was actually the Nashville Network. Then they switched to the National Network.
Yeah. And then it just went TNN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they didn't have any.
They went like the way of the KFC.
Mm-hmm. And then it was Spike TV.
Yeah.
And it was, I want to say it was either Cosmopolitan or it was like another one of those men's magazines.
Okay.
And then it went to Paramount
bought
TV,
it out.
Yeah.
Was it Maxim?
Yeah, I think it was at one point Maxim.
Maxim? Because that was pretty much, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, the official dude magazine was like Maxim and Stuff.
There was a Maxim channel, but let's find out what
Stuff was like their offshoot Mad Magazine version of Maxim. If you remember, it was a little bit more for a slightly younger male, I think. That was kind of and then everyone said, "Oh, the internet. What's these magazine things?" And then everything kind of went the way of the dodo.
I know what it is now. I don't need to know that it's the Paramount Network. I want to know the other stuff.
The history of that channel.
Dang it!
But I think by far, Paramount's got the best programming.
Oh yeah.
Well,
because they've got the biggest, broadest library.
Spike TV back in the day when they had the most extreme challenge show.
Oh God!
And they showed marathons of that.
I still have one of those on DVD.
Yeah.
Like 4 episodes on DVD. Yeah.
I feel like there is if you get. I feel like it's either in my LG channels or it's on like Freevee or one of these free channels that you can watch TV on, that they have a channel that's devoted to showing nothing but like the most extreme challenge stuff.
Really?
Like I feel like it was either an LG channel or a Freevee or a Pluto or one of these channels that they had.
I'll be honest though, I can only watch like 3, maybe 4 episodes of that show.
Oh yeah, it's
before you realize, you're watching the same show.
Yeah, well, it's like Wipeout.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, see, that's a little different because Wipeout.
But I mean, the same feeling. Like after about an episode or 2 of Wipeout, I'm good on Wipeout for a while.
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
And it doesn't matter who the hosts are, whether it's the new ones or those obscure Dinkelman guys, whatever they were back in the day. I don't know. Because now they just have comedian actors that do it. But when it first started, they tried to make it like ESPN announcer guys doing it.
It was John something. There was the guy who used to host Talk Soup.
Okay.
Before Joel McHale.
But they put him in the suits and everything like they were like sideline reporters for ESPN. And that kind of evolved over the years as they were like, we need more jokes than actual commentary. They could see the big fist come out and punch the guy in the face into the mud water. But the one thing I wish that Wipeout did better than most extreme challenge, and that's probably because of the translations and everything. They just said the dumbest things before they started their runs or whatever.
That's
and Wipeout never was like
it. Wasn't even the translation. It was literally that whole thing was just made up.
It wasn't. Okay.
Yeah, like even the premise of. Well, the show was based on an actual Japanese game show. It's called like Takeshi's Challenge or something like that.
Okay.
So that's an actual game show. They took the footage and they just
spoofed
dubbed
it.
Oh, you spoofed it and dubbed it.
So it's like a Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Like if you watch an episode of MXC, you'll see it's like teachers versus the school board.
Yeah.
That's all just made up.
But it's still.
But that's kind of the best part.
That's the part I like the show about.
You'd hear like the girl would come out and she'd like right before she'd go to like catch the ball in the mud pit, she'd be like, I have double D's. Yeah,
it's pretty funny. Yeah, it was kind of like a bad lip syncing meets. Of course, the syncing didn't line up.
And then
spoke, but
the genius that was Guy Ledouche.
Yeah, it was fun. But you're right. It goes a long way.
It really does. It's like Worcestershire sauce in a show.
That's right. Again, big thank you to McDonald's. Swing by any McDonald's here. They got you covered. Don't forget to download that app. It will save your bacon and money quite a few times.
And pickles.
And pickles. Yeah. Beef, chicken, fish. And it is fish fillet season.
It is. 'Tis indeed.
Give it a dance. Single, double, whatever you do, give it a dance.
Give it a couple minutes before you bite in if you got a fresh one, because that thing will destroy your mouth.
Although, sometimes that's my favorit. When it's lava hot.
The hot burst.
Oh, yeah.
The hot burst of flavor in your mouth.
Yeah. Kind of like it. Let me give you the rundown for today's show.
I knew just by looking at you, you're a man that liked a hot plastic flavor in your mouth.
Then I'll have to excuse myself. But let me give you the rundown for today's show. We're going to replay our interview we had earlier this week with Don Weld. I am, but this time it's his American Legion. He was on with Bitter Lake this week. We've had a lot of Don this week, which is always a good thing. But Don Weld joined us wearing his American Legion hat on Wednesday, and get an update there. But also want to invite everyone out to our Fort Chaplain ceremony, which is this Sunday, 3 p.m. at First United Methodist Church. Free event. As we an annual ceremony as we honor the four chaplains and the brave act. We'll tell you more about it in the interview here in just a bit, so I won't tell you the whole story again and again and again. In the 8 o'clock hour, we'll chit-chat for a little bit, and then around 8:40, Paul Gessing will call in from the Rio Grande Foundation. They're a New Mexico grassroots organization that they're kind of a watchdog group on our government, what they're doing, and kind of the freedoms and liberties of that. They're the ones that are out there pointing and picking out what our politicians are doing. So Paul's going to join us to recap the legislative session, get the good, the bad deal, get from that, and then he's got his Freedom Index on his website. He'd like people to check out, and that's where you can kind of see how your legislators fare as far as the rating score, as far as liberty and all these kind of things. So, and I know. Candy Spence is rated very highly in there on the news story I heard, and some of our other legislators as well, too. So. Yes. But we'll talk with Paul in the 8 o'clock hour, around 8:40, giving us his take on all that. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we'll replay our interview we had with John from Oasis Computers, talking tech with us, as he always does. All right, it is...
Sagely.
Yes, sagely. Parsleyly. It's all Baisley. Yes. It is 7:19. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on this weekend. We have a big high-pressure system covering all of the southern states, and that'll keep us fair, sunshine, and mid-60s for the afternoon high today. Mid-30s and a few clouds overnight, and then our warming trend will continue on Saturday. We'll be in the mid-70s. Looks like a nice day with sunshine, about 80 and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 37 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 59%. Winds are currently out of the north at 10 miles per hour. Mid-60s for a high today. Increasing clouds with a high of 66 degrees. Winds will be out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, cloudy during the early evening, but gradually clearing as the evening progresses. Expect an overnight low of 37 degrees with southeast winds at around 5 miles per hour. Warming up for you Saturday, increasing clouds, but expect a high of 75 tomorrow. Winds will be out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tomorrow night. Expect an overnight low of 42 degrees. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Back into the low 80s for your Sunday, mostly sunny, 82 for a high there. Northwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy Sunday night with an overnight low of 49 degrees. And then Monday, going to be warm, 84, but patchy blowing dust after 11, 84 and breezy. And then mid-70s and windy on Tuesday, 61 for a high on Wednesday, and upper 60s Thursday. So looks like that first half of the week we're going to be hitting some wind there next week, but warmer temperatures bringing in the cooler temps. We'll see. All right, 7:21, we're going to take a 3-minute break, and then we'll play our interview with Don Weld from American Legion Post 61, talking about our Four Chaplains event this Sunday, 3 p.m. at First United Methodist Church. That's up next. Don't go away.
Foot and ankle problems are often agonizing, but they don't have to be. At Artesia General Hospital, we're passionate about helping every patient return to optimal mobility with confidence and comfort. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa, provide a full spectrum of services ranging from routine foot care and pain relief to customized treatment plans and leading-edge surgeries. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request your appointment today.
Our lives run on energy every day. And every day, your friends and neighbors at New Mexico Gas Company safely deliver reliable, affordable, essential energy to New Mexicans. The kind of energy that brings families together, that surrounds us in comfort, the energy that warms homes and hearts. We're New Mexico Gas Company, And every day we deliver the energy that's behind some of the warmest moments in your life. That's why we're here.
Need new windows for your home? Beware of the sales gangster. Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing and Windows here. A sales gangster is a window salesperson with the mobster mentality. They intimidate, bully, and fast talk you into buying their less than quality windows during a 3-hour pitch. Think I'm kidding? Call a few window companies and see for yourself. Or you can skip the sales gangsters and call Trustmark. We have fair, no-nonsense pricing on our premium windows, and our appointments take only about 60 to 75 minutes. Just long enough to listen to what you need, show you your options, answer your questions, and give you a straightforward quote. Then it's up to you. We can take a no just as easy as a yes, but I'll guarantee you this. No sales gangsters. Sound fair? Call Trustmark Roofing and Windows for your no-obligation spring window assessment. 575-755-7663 or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Double Up Days are back at Roswell Honda, and that means double your tax refund up to $2,000 right now. $1,000 get you $2,000, $1,500 get you $3,000, and $2,000, well, that gets you $4,000 towards your next vehicle at Roswell Honda, and that's on every make and model across the lot. Bring in your tax refund and let Roswell Honda double your refund up to $2,000. Now's the time to make your dollars go even further, and it all starts right here. Double Up Days are back at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Get your tickets now for Red Zone Presents A Night with Jason Witten, coming to Artesia Saturday, April 13th. Jason Witten is an 11-time Pro Bowl selection and 2-time NFL All-Pro with the Dallas Cowboys and is currently head coach at Liberty Christian High School in Argyle, Texas. Jason is one of sports' top leaders on and off the field. Tickets are free, but you must have a ticket to enter. To get your free tickets, contact the Artesia Chamber of Commerce. This invitation courtesy of H.F. Sinclair. Excited about Jason Witten coming to Artesia.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, wearing one of his many hats, officially his American, literally, well, he's got it off at the moment, but his American Legion
I'll put it on
hat here this morning, just to be official.
There we go. Now we're official. I'm in uniform.
That's right. That is the official uniform of the American Legion.
That's right.
But Don Weld with American Legion Post 61 joined us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How you doing today?
Doing good.
That's good.
How's life? I know when Don's not doing this, he's helping with veterans transport or helping with Alzheimer's or helping
the zoo,
or like
Bitter
this
Lake,
afternoon he's going to be helping vets at the library later today.
That's right.
That's kind of what Don does. So,
Come any vets out there, come by the library this afternoon, and we'll see if we can get you any information about how to do what you need to do.
Okay, so if you need to get in touch with VA benefits and things,
right?
Yeah, you can come out to the library between 1 and 4 today.
Correct.
And there will be Don and some other folks there to help you navigate.
It's run by Goodwill.
Awesome.
But they're doing that to try and find work for vets, jobs for vets.
Absolutely.
That's what that's all
kind of
about.
what Goodwill, yes. Most people think they go to the Goodwill store and buy their clothes or furniture and stuff. All of that's to support their day job, which is finding employment, finding basically purpose for people that are in need of it. So
that's right. So that's what that's going on this afternoon.
Absolutely. So good. So if you need that, please come and bring a friend or two if you know they need something here.
That's right.
But every year, American Legion Post 61, since we've been in existence here for 6 years or 5, 6, I don't know how many years we've been around.
2017?
You're asking old people.
18?
Everything seems like a week ago, so I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
But we've been around
just before COVID hit.
Yeah, so like 2017, somewhere like that. But we've been around for 5, 6, 7 years now.
Yep.
And for every year, we've been doing, we do our, and this is really an American Legion. It's not just our post. It's
everywhere.
This is something that is a passion project for American Legion nationally.
Right.
Here. And it is the 4 chaplains. And in February, early February, predating here, really World War II, but kind of predating some of the, it was 1943, so some of the, and I think the location, and I don't know all the details here because they were basically coming across the ocean with troops and everything else, and these 4 chaplains and on there. And while in the ocean, they were attacked, and the boat was going to sink and perish. And these 4 chaplains, when it came to call to abandon ship, these 4 chaplains basically sacrificed their lives while this ship was sinking in frigid cold waters. I think it was in the middle of the night too, if I remember right.
It was in the North Atlantic.
Yeah, it was in the North Atlantic. This is extreme conditions.
Yep, and it was February, so it was really cold.
Exactly.
Yep.
And these men, basically, there wasn't enough life jackets for everyone. There wasn't enough resources to get everybody. So these four chaplains, and they're all different faiths. Catholic, Jew, Protestant. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
Presbyterian.
Yes, they're all 4 different faiths, and basically they gave up their lives. They gave up their life jackets. They're giving up their gloves. They're giving them to other sailors and GIs and helping them off the boat and onto the rescue boats or into to safety.
Yeah, guided everybody right to their boats.
And they did it until the very end.
Right.
And they did it because of what their jobs are. Chaplains, they're kind of trained to be the calm in the storm. And that's kind of where their training is, but they gave up their own lives knowing that they were not going to get off this boat alive.
That's right.
And they continued to do their duty to rescue as many of those GIs off the boat as possible.
That's right.
Like I was saying, because of the circumstances, like where they're located and all that, it didn't qualify for like Medal of Honor and all that. So they did create basically a special award for these 4 individuals. That's right. But every year in February we honor these 4, and so we, as a local American Legion post, do our annual 4 chaplain ceremony where we invite the public to come and hear the story of the 4 chaplains,
right,
and hear the sacrifices. I'm giving it a very vanilla, generic recap of the story right now.
Yeah.
Hear the ceremony, be a part of the ceremony. You can hear more of the details. You hear more of the background, and then you really show an appreciation of what these 4 individuals did.
Yep.
These are 4 men that aren't very different than you and I. They grew up as kids. They were, all of them, had a passion for the cloth, but they were. One was in gangs and stuff as a kid, and was a ruffian growing up.
Yeah,
and,
he really had a rough upbringing,
and he used that as his his transition to the Lord's work here.
Turn his life around completely.
Yeah, and so, but they all have stories very much like that, and so they're just average people that did extraordinary things, and to do what these 4 men did. This is why we honor them and celebrate them, because they could have easily strapped on a life jacket, got their butt in a boat, and we would have never heard it and sailed away.
Yeah.
But they did not. They literally died doing their duty.
That's right.
And they did it without hesitation. Yeah. And that's why we do this ceremony. So we would love for the public. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. It's not that long. You'll be in and out in about an hour.
Yep.
We'll start at 3. I guarantee by 4 we should be done with everything. And, the ceremony itself is probably about 30, 40 minutes. But, if you want to chit-chat and talk, and we all visit after.
Got to say hi.
Yeah, visit and all
how
that
everybody's
stuff.
doing.
A few minutes before, a little after here. Of course, we will have our whole American Legion family. So if you'd like to learn more about Legion or want to see more about what we do outside of this, we'd be happy to talk to you about that. So if you're interested, any veterans out there or veterans family that are interested in being a part of our Post-61 family, we'd be happy to talk to you about that. Or if you're veterans in need or need resources, come out with us, and we'll have some people there that can get you on the right path here if you can't make it, say, for instance, out to the library here today.
Right.
Do all that.
Stop by the library.
Absolutely.
Today. Right.
And, of course, so that's this. Again, it's 3 o'clock this Sunday at First United Methodist Church there on Pennsylvania, I think is the actual.
Yes, Pennsylvania and 2nd.
Yes, and we'll get there about 3 o'clock. We'll be right in the main entrance. Come on through the main doors. The ceremony itself will be in the main sanctuary, the chapel there at First United Methodist Church.
Right.
And that's why I said we'd love to get as many people, because we got room for a bunch. It's a big, it's a big chapel.
Big church.
Yeah, but we kind of look like a. We look like a little child in a grown man's pants in there.
There you go. That's a good analogy. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So I'd love to have you come and do that. Another thing we've been talking about here too, and other things, if you'd like to participate or get more involved, as of the first of this year, we the American Legion Post 61 family are the official owners of Memory Lawn Cemetery now. Mm-hmm. We are the stewards. We're the ones that maintain it, take care of it. If you need burial services or anything like that, we have the sexton. Thank you. That's
Sexton,
the term I was looking for. They're under with us to make sure you get taken care of. We have an expert that knows the burial business. We all don't know that very well. We that's not our business. But we're our goal is to keep making improvements out there, to getting it to be back to the place of honor that it should be. We've made a lot of progress over the last couple of years, and we're not nearly done.
Oh no, I know.
But I am proud to say of our folks that you look at that cemetery today as compared to say 8-10 years ago. It is not the same facility. It went from a rundown, abandoned piece of property to a place that at least you can now tell it's a place of reverence.
Yeah.
It still needs grass work. We need irrigation. We need to do a lot of work on the stones and things out there. We've got bigger plans too on some other things being put out there that would obviously enhance and go well with what the theme is for a cemetery here. But we will continue to support it and continue. And if you would like to join us in this cause, we're still taking donations to make directly towards Memory Lawn. Let's just say this. It does not pay for itself for the cost of burying people and things like that. It is it's not like 12 of those are going on a day. They might get one a month, 2 a month, something like that. It's not that often. So therefore it doesn't pay for itself. So you're thinking, well, shoot, just use the money from the burials to pay for that. That doesn't cover it.
No.
Especially the amount of work we got to do. So we rely on donations, support, whatever money we can garner for whoever will give it to us to make that happen. So if you'd like to donate, whether it's $10, $50, $1,000, whatever it is, it will go to the up cost and maintenance of Memory Lawn, whether it's buying gas and stuff for lawnmowers and weed eaters, or if it's to pay for pipes and irrigation or grass seed or stone repairs or whatever. It'll go towards that, and it'll go directly towards that. Yeah. If you donate to us directly and just say, hey, here's a donation from American Legion, we will put it wherever we see needed. It might help a veteran get a room for a night, might help buy us turkeys, Thanksgiving time for a group in need. It might help us build charity bears for the law enforcement, or do some of that other work that we do, or it might go into potholders. So we sell at our farmers market and stuff that help us raise more money to do these kinds of things in the community.
Yeah, and that's the whole intent of Family 61.
Yeah,
is that we want community service. We're here to serve the community.
Yes, we are a service organization first.
That's right.
With a slight social aspect. We are not a post that has our own facility with a bar or nothing like that. We meet at a church, and we're social. We like to hang out and chit chat and be friends, and that's part of it. So if you're looking to meet new people and have friendships, we got you covered. Yeah. But we are not the party group. We're not the group that does the bars and all that. So nothing wrong with that. That's just not what we do.
No, that's just not our thing.
Our thing. And so we focus more on these projects we pick, and to be honest, we find, like, literally at the beginning of this, we're literally like, hey, where's some places that need our help? Let's go find around, and next thing you know, we're dropping turkeys off over at the Roswell Refuge, or with Johnny Gonzalez, or with Boys and Girls Club, or wherever we need to do that.
Or cleaning up a vacant lot next to Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
We spent a day out there doing that. We're gonna have to do it again too.
Yeah, that's our adopt a highway kind of thing.
Yeah,
we do that too. We help her, and it's little. It could be big tentpole things like, all right, we're going to be a part of this Veterans Symposium or VA Affairs thing. Yeah, we're doing that, or we're planning the Veterans Parade. That's one of our big things we do every single year. Now, that's a joint effort. We partner with the other American Legions and VFW and our Chaves County Veterans and all of our other veteran organizations locally here to do that. But we got
spearhead that a little bit. And so that's kind of, but that's what we're doing. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, we would love to have you join us at our meetings. We meet Thursday at First United Church. We meet informally. We meet officially the first Thursday. That's when we have our Legionnaire, Auxiliary, and Sun meetings. But every Thursday, we usually have our auxiliary hanging out at the church, doing sewing or craft projects, getting ready for either as charity bears or some event
and our
we're
Cub
doing.
Scout group
Or Cub Scout. Yeah, and our Cub Scout. We also sponsor a Cub Scout pack
too.
and a Boy Scout troop, too.
Right.
So we kind of have, and if you're interested in joining Scouts through us, we'd love to have you join our Cub
That's
pack.
right.
And if you also want to be a Legionnaire, we do offer special discounts for Scout uniforms and stuff for parents that want to also be Legionnaires. You don't have to, it's no requirement. But if you're interested in doing that and scouting, we may help you save a little money.
Yeah.
Because I know
We can combine it all.
Yeah, I get it. It gets expensive buying all the
Yep.
uniforms and all the stuff you need to get ready for Scouts. So I bought some of that stuff in the time or two.
Yeah. Just a little here and
Just
there.
a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But we would love to have you part. So come out Sunday, learn more about it with us at 3 and talk with us, or join us at our. Let's see, what is the? We're about 2 weeks away from probably our formal next meeting.
Yes.
The first Thursday in March.
First
here.
Thursday in March.
But I think they'll be out here probably tomorrow, probably out at the church doing, especially since they didn't make it last week. So I'm thinking if you want to pop in tomorrow,
yes,
they might, the Scouts and of course our auxiliary doing their projects, they'll be out there. Pop in, usually they're about 5:36. They get there and
Yep.
hang out till about 7 or 8 and then come on down. So,
Yeah. Come down and say hi and, see if you want to join us.
Absolutely. And please come to our Fort Chaplain ceremony. That is, I think every American should see this or be at least aware of what these
That's
four
right.
people did. This is one of these things that, why is our country an amazing thing? It's because of acts from people like this.
That's right. And this was something that they did, it just happened.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but it happened. And they performed well beyond what anybody would have expected of them.
Absolutely. That's why, quite frankly, they all deserve Medal of Honors and their names should be as recognizable to the average American as George Washington.
Right.
Or
They did get a special congressional medal.
Yes. They've done as right as they could by them, but we just got it. The public should know more about these four people. That's
right, and why they deserve the Medal of Honor. But but they got the closest thing to it that the Congress could come up with.
Yeah, it's the selfless acts that these four men did. It's just it is inspiring. It's sad. This story, that's when I hear this story every time, and I've done it. I've heard it 100 times now. I think.
Yeah.
I've been through it. I've read it, done it myself, and every time it puts me in the same place. Every time I get through it, it's just like, because and we reflect. I reflect a little bit on myself. I'm like, if I was in these gentlemen's shoes, I'd like to think I could do that, but could I?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
It's a rough aspect to think I'm going to die just so that some others can live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on the surface, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Because in your head, in my mindset, I'm like, look, I value, because this is a little bit of a military mindset. We do value other people's lives more than our own sometimes.
That's right. Especially those standing in the
especially the people
next to us.
that you come to trust and rely. That's that kinship we never, and it's the only thing I could compare it to that people would get is first responders, law enforcement. They do the exact same thing.
They do.
Probably more often than military folks because of the nature of their work. But that's the only place I could even compare that experience to, because when you're relying on another person to keep you alive or you're keeping them alive, it changes the relationship. It just does. Because no matter your personalities, no matter if you agree with this person or not on every single thing, it don't matter. At this moment, that person's keeping you alive and you're keeping them alive.
Yep.
And that trumps a lot of other goofiness. And that's why the military works sometimes with some of that stuff. Because, when I know we talk about racism, we talk about sexism, and you talk about what's going on in the military and how they address these kind of things. But to be fair, to really, the most colorblind place I've ever experienced life in was the United States military.
Yeah. No kidding.
My time in the United States military, it did not matter what color your skin was. It was you were all treated equal.
That's right.
Bad or good, you
Yeah,
were treated
that's right.
equal, and you were all in the same boat together, and it didn't matter where you're from. I had my closest buddies in the military. All were different walks of life. From Georgia, growing up in the projects, growing up in Puerto Rico. These are all people that had completely different lifestyles than me. But I will tell you this day, I'd take a bullet for any one of those people.
Yep.
Because
they
just
were right
great
there.
people. You know what I mean?
They would have done the same.
Exactly. And it's because of that camaraderie that gets there. It's no matter the walks of life people come from, the military is a very good way of bringing that all together, regardless. And so, but that being said, I get off topic. We would love to have you come be a part of our family. Come learn more about Post 61 and what we do. We're always looking for new folks to be a part of our group. Always looking and new people bring fresh ideas. Yep. We're always looking to see where we can help, where we can get involved in the community in some way, shape, or form.
That's right.
That's kind of what
that's
we do.
the whole idea.
Yep. And to be honest, yes, we do it because we want to help our community, but for some of our members and some of our veterans, this is their need to feel wanted and veterans.
Purpose.
Yeah, purpose.
We have a purpose in life.
Yeah, veterans we're very needed oriented. We're people that we're trained that way. We're if we're doing something, then we're productive and we're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
When we're idle, then bad things happen. That's just the general rule. So by you coming and supporting us and being part of this and keeping us busy is a good thing, not only to help the community, but it helps our own veterans here and gives them a little sense of belonging, which is what everyone wants at the end of the day. So good deal. Did we miss anything, Don? Is there anything we
Not really
feel like
on that line? Ronald Reagan once made a comment. About Marines.
Okay.
That many people go through life wondering what their purpose is, whether or not they made a difference.
Right.
And Reagan says, "No, well, the Marines don't have to worry about that." Well, American Legion is the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have to worry
right.
about whether or not we made a difference because the American Legion
just did.
has.
Yeah. It's that, and so we love, and if you're looking, I'm telling you, especially if you're older, maybe you're by yourself, or you have a very small social circle, and that's starting to get to you a little bit. I get it. When you're home alone and things, it's fun for a little bit, but you're left to your own devices. That's when depression and some of the negative things creep in. Let's help you put some of that back into your life and give you a sense of purpose and sense of like you're wanted and needed. And that's what we want to do. And by the way, we're good people. We're pretty funny. We get
along.
We're laid back. We're we'll crack jokes here and there, and
Sure.
we're not. But at the end of the day, we all just committed to helping.
It's good when you can laugh digging a ditch.
Exactly. That's kind of. But that's the military.
That's right.
That's the military. When you're out
enjoy
there
it.
painting rocks for no reason, you're doing it with your buddies and you're cracking jokes, and we're all talking about this is dumb.
Yeah. What are they doing this for?
Yeah.
What do you mean dig a hole and then fill it in?
Yeah. It's
but it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's kind of what we are now. We do that kind of thing.
Yes.
We get involved in the community, and we're just going to keep growing that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Commander got me one more thing to remind folks about too. Thank you, Commander. Yes, our scholarships as well too. That's the other thing we've got to mention. If you go to roswelllegion.org, all one word, there's going to be 3 L's in the middle. It's going to look weird, but that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because there's the 2 L's in Roswell and then the L in Legion. It's all. So you're like, is that right? It's right. Go
There's 3 L's.
Go to roswelllegion.org, and you'll find a link to our scholarships right there on the page. We offer scholarships for people continuing into college. So, and it's obviously there's a veteran. If you are a veteran or you're attached to a veteran as a spouse
or sibling,
or a brother or son or daughter,
something
like that.
There we go. That's what I was thinking.
You are eligible, and then of course your degree or whatever your extra education's going toward is in a STEM related field,
right?
Which is very broad. That's HVAC, air conditioning, that's doctors, that's military, that's police and fire and rescue, that's nursing. Pretty much anything that uses math or science or any way, shape, or form falls under STEM. So that's pretty much almost every position out there it could qualify as a STEM thing, but we do have the military. But you write a short essay about the Constitution. You can read all the rules, and we can get you quite a bit of money. We're getting out $1,000, $1,500 at a time,
up to $2,500 per scholarship.
Yeah.
And you can do that every year.
Absolutely. And we've had, and whether you're continuing college or just leaving high school to go to college, if you're going towards higher education, trade school, as long as it meets the criteria towards STEM, then you're eligible for this scholarship.
That's right.
So, and I'm telling you, we don't get but a half dozen or so a year.
You're pretty likely you're going to get it.
So if you do a good job and I'm presenting your paper and everything, we're probably going to guarantee you some money.
Yeah.
So again, go to roswelllegion.org and read all the requirements. Get your forms, your application, and your essay put together, transcripts, all the things that we're going to ask from you, and get that packet turned in. And then once here in
pretty soon,
when time comes here,
we're coming up to a time when we have
usually
to get
we do it
together.
in the spring, don't we?
Yeah.
Summer. So we're coming up pretty quick here
because we're looking towards the fall.
Yeah, to start in the fall.
semester.
So usually around April, May time frame, we're looking at these scholarship applications. So get them in now, get them, and please make it hard for us.
And if
I love that. If there's more applications and they're all worthy, that's a good thing. I want that.
Now a lot of the kids are in school right now, but the parents
absolutely
listening to the radio.
Write it down and let them know.
You got a senior out there that's looking to go to college. They need a few extra dollars to go to that college. Get in there to roswelllegion.org.
Absolutely.
And get them to apply for that scholarship.
Absolutely. And you can use it when you're ready for it. We'll send it directly to the institution, everything.
Yep.
So if you're like, well, I'm not going for another year, okay, we'll hold on to it. And then when you're there, they'll get it. So
that's right.
So even if you're like, well, I'm going, but I'm not going to go for another year, no problem.
That's
Apply.
right. We'll
Get in
have
there.
it.
We will
there.
Get it and hold it for you to make sure it gets to know when you're ready to use it here. Now, there will be a statute of limitations. It's like 10 years later, and we're like, then we're going to say,
we might want
time to fish or cut bait, bud.
Yeah.
But
hold
we
that
get
off
it.
a little.
Your time, you got to get your ducks in a row before you go there. But so please fill that out. We love we have some very great people that can give in money doing that, including people that don't like to be mentioned about it, but they are very appreciative. But we are very appreciative of what they do.
Yeah. So we got the scholarships. We got this Sunday. We got the chaplains.
Yes.
Come by and see us on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
And one other thing. I know this may be a little early.
Mm-hmm.
Wreaths Across America.
Now it's never too early to get.
That's right.
If we have a link all
right
year,
there on the website.
So when you're looking at for the scholarships there, you'll see one right. It's right in the center. It says Wreaths Across America. That'll take us to our Wreaths Across America page. You can buy a wreath, and what'll happen at Christmas time here in December, what we'll do is all the wreaths that people purchased, we will get them. Literally, a truck will roll in with hundreds of wreaths, and then we go and put them on the graves of veterans. We start at Memory Lawn, but then what's left over, we'll go to the downtown here. We'll go down to South Park to help out there, or wherever
the memorial
at the memorial
courthouse.
Yeah, in the courthouse,
and then down
memorial.
to South Park and do any more down there.
So, so if the more wreaths, the more. Like last time, we got about 200 or so.
Yeah,
and that almost covers the veterans at Memory Lawn. We could have probably used another 40, 50, 100. Yeah, 100.
Because we've got 290 some odd. Gotta have to look that up again. Close to 300 that we know of veterans at Memory Lawn.
Right. And I'm sure there's a few more veterans that maybe aren't marked as veterans.
That's right. We have
just
to
don't know the
research
history.
those some more and find them.
Yeah. Fortunately, some were a good hunk. They were kind enough to put their service on the marker.
Right.
And that makes it very helpful. They'll either have the coin or they'll, say
whatever.
US, especially if they were war veterans, World War II or Vietnam veterans, you'll see. I believe it was a World War I or so. I think I've noticed a couple.
I think there were some out there.
I noticed some even predate World War II.
That's an old cemetery. It's been around for
and so
a long time.
We want to honor those people, but we also want to preserve that. So when our grandkids, and we're long left this earth, they go there and look and say, "Man, look at this man from World War II or World War I that served," and then
that's history.
Absolutely, it's living history, right? I mean, that's a bad pun, but I mean it's literally physical history right there in front of you. You know what I mean? And so that's why it's so important.
And these were the same people who, throughout the U.S. history, they may have come back from a battle and then died later, but they gave a portion of their life to making sure that we're all of us free enough
absolutely
to do those things that we do.
We talk so much now, rightly so, about our GIs coming back and the PTSD, and we're very cognizant of that's a thing.
That's right.
World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Vietnam was probably the first when they started saying, maybe this is a problem. But prior to that, mental health was not covered in that. It's not even addressed. It was just as bad. You don't know how many GIs came back from World War I and World War II and could not and end up killing themselves or committing crimes or doing things because they can no longer feel normal in society because they've been trained to kill and trained to do this, and now they're saying, "I'll put all that down and go turn a wrench or go put on a suit and go work at the bank or whatever it is they want you to do," and they can't can't transition that.
Yeah, it is. War is hell.
It is, and things that made sense to you before don't make sense now, and things that didn't make sense before now you see it in a different way. That's what war does to people.
That's right.
And some people, it handles mentally, and to be honest, some it doesn't show up till later. Like they
Years
suppress
later.
it, they go play like nothing's nothing, and then finally they hit to a point where it's just more and more, and then they pop.
Yep.
And so it could be 20, 30, 40 years after.
Yep.
And they never talked about it or said one thing about it, but life hits the moment and they get overwhelmed, and it's just like,
don't know quite how to handle it.
And so that's what
I can't blame them.
Yeah.
It's a rough life.
Absolutely. And that's
fighting for what you believe in.
Absolutely. And so that's why we kind of, want to, pay attention to this stuff. And when you see those, Mark, remember, they walked different shoes than you did. They lived a different life than we did.
Yep.
This is the things that you take for granted today. They had to fight tooth and nail.
That's right.
And that's never to be overlooked or never to be forgotten.
Right.
It's kind of, we talk about it. I'm getting a little side on a thing here, but it's like, how we judge forefathers in our history now.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not fair. I mean, these, you look at our founding fathers, they were people of the time. Slavery was part of the thing. This is how you navigated life, doing things this way. Wrongly or rightly, that's how business was done. And so for you to just automatically negate their accomplishments because they were slaveholders, I'm like, yeah, but everybody. It was, and it's what they, and ultimately they go from, that's the part that, you're judging people through the lens of 2024, and you cannot do that accurately because you're missing so many variables. Am I trying to defend slavery? No, not even close. Or defending that it's a right thing, not even close. But it's like lawn darts. They were there. We all played with lawn darts. Years later said, these are dangerous, get them off. It's no different than that. We didn't know any better because we're having fun playing. I'm very simplifying it, but it's that same little ideology a little bit here. If that's what is acceptable to society and how society is, how do you know if that's right or wrong? You know what I mean? That's what society is. It's like we go to the bathroom this way because that's what society says we do. Right. But if you don't, you know what I mean? It's kind of, it's a little bit of that there too. And yes. And people are like, well, you should know right from wrong. I'm like, yeah, but if the mindset was skewed from the begin with, like it's like saying we all know this is brown, but someone said this is blue, and now it's blue. Yeah. But they're like, but I know it's brown, and so you're dealing with some of that, even though if it really is blue now, it's just
life is a learning process.
Yeah,
and the not only as individuals we start out learning throughout life. Well, our culture has to learn too. So
absolutely,
and that's what that whole process has been, and it takes generations to learn.
You don't realize how many things were done during the times of our forefathers that you would look at today and be like, what the heck? You know, just even basic life skills and living, you know, things that were deemed acceptable, medicines, things that, you know what? They drank a lot of alcohol because it was medicinal back then. Now we know, that's a bad idea. Are you going to judge them for alcoholics now because they drank a lot more booze than you did?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of their medicine back then. That was kind of, it was looked at a little different.
Or cooking and retaining food.
Yeah.
Look at Lizzie Borden thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they just left the stew pot on all the time. Well, what did that do?
Yeah.
But we learned from that.
Absolutely. Germs, fungus, and things, that's
things that we didn't even know about generations ago.
And so that's kind of what so when you compare things like that, it's an unfair comparison to me. In my
yes, it is.
Opinion. So
you learn from history.
Absolutely. Now, if you say, I want to do that nowadays, then we got a problem. But,
that's right, because you know better.
Exactly.
You had to learn that.
Exactly. Good deal. Well, Don, as always, appreciate the visit. We'll see you next week for our normal, we want to get Don on a week early here just to remind people to come join us on Sunday for Four Chaplains. So
I'll see you tomorrow, too.
That's right. Is tomorrow
Tomorrow's Thursday.
That's right.
But it's Bitter Lake.
Oh, Bitter Lake. That's right. You'll be on for Bitter Lake tomorrow. So I was like, tomorrow night we got a meeting? No, on the radio tomorrow.
On the radio in the morning for Bitter Lake.
Yes. So Don will have a different hat tomorrow.
Yeah.
So very good. Well, thank you, Don, as always, and we'll see you in the morning.
Mike. Yep.
All right, it is 9:55. Let's pause for news and a quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
Now, your Pecos Valley News Update.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on this weekend. We have a big high-pressure system covering all of the southern states, and that'll keep us fair, sunshine, and mid-60s for the afternoon high today. Mid-30s and a few clouds overnight, and then our warming trend will continue on Saturday. We'll be in the mid-70s. Looks like a nice day with sunshine, about 80 and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
After more than a half century, the United States has returned to the moon.
On the 8th day of a 250,000-mile voyage, a voyage along the great cosmic bridge from the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center to the target of the south pole of the moon.
A private lander has touched down on the lunar surface, according to NASA's Bill Nelson, who was heard there on the BBC. The hours-long outage had affected tens of thousands of cell phone customers across the country yesterday, not the result of a cyber attack. AT&T blames it on a technical glitch. In the darkest of days, former President Trump says it's Americans' faith in God that has held the republic together. Addressing the National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Nashville, Mr. Trump recalled the harrowing days of World War II and the fate of the free world hanging in the balance.
Our country was at war with the enemy and wanted to extinguish our way of life forever. It was a very bad time, but here at home, Christians knew that victory depended not only on the force of American arms, but also on the faith in American hearts.
Citing executive privilege, former President Trump's legal team has filed motions urging a Florida judge to dismiss the criminal case charging him with illegally retaining classified documents. Treasury Department set to impose more than 500 new sanctions on Russia. It has to do with the Russia war in Ukraine, as well as the death of opposition leader Alexei Navalny. Former FBI informant Alexander Smirnov, accused of lying about a Biden family bribery scheme, has been rearrested following his release pending trial. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 176 points. The Nasdaq trading 17 points higher. The S&P 500 is up 17 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
To avoid digital threats, turn on NordVPN. It's trusted by millions of users. Just visit nordvpn.com. One of the fastest VPNs on Earth will block web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. It will also encrypt your internet traffic while maintaining a smooth connection. So improve your digital privacy and protection against hackers with one simple click. Get the special deal at nordvpn.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN. Cybersecurity.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Working from home? Mind your own business.
A Houston man has pleaded guilty to securities fraud for trading on inside information from his wife's conversations while both were working from home. His wife worked as a mergers and acquisition manager at oil and gas conglomerate BP and was working on a proposed deal. After Tyler Loudon learned that BP was planning to acquire a truck stop and travel center company, he bought more than 46,000 shares of that company before the merger was announced. The stock soared almost 71%. He then sold the stock immediately for a gain of $1.76 million. His sentencing is scheduled for May 17th, where he faces up to 5 years in federal prison. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Federal investigators say the city of Pittsburgh did not adequately maintain or repair a bridge, resulting in the span collapsing into a ravine more than 2 years ago. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The traveler said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yes.
Hopefully your Friday is going amazingly well.
It is. Tis indeed. As I'm enjoying my McCafe oatmeal.
Yeah, Sean's a big oatmeal guy. I would say at least 50% of the time you get oatmeal for breakfast on Friday.
I'm equal parts a 7-year-old boy and a 75-year-old man.
Is it just plain, or do you get some
It's
stuff?
maple oatmeal, and then they give you raisins and dried cranberries. I always think of Archer from the show Archer. I like to call him cran-basins. And then it comes with it comes with apples also, but I never mix that in.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. I'm somebody who likes to save the best bite for last. So, like, I'll dig around and try to find, like, a raisin or a cran-basin free bite, just so I know I'm saving the good stuff to the last. I can't do it. I cannot do it. It's so
every bite's got a raisin in it.
That I can't find a raisin or cran-basin free bite. So you really getting your money's worth with this stuff here.
Absolutely, good deal. So and people forget they do have if you're like, hey, I don't want a breakfast sandwich this morning, or I don't want like a sit down big. Oatmeal be perfect. Coffee and oatmeal be a perfect thing.
They got options,
or maybe a McCafe item. But don't forget, they got you covered, and you can download the app, which I recommend you do.
Yes.
Utilize it and order through the app by using the app ahead of time, and you just hit them with the 4-digit code, and then you roll around and the corner there, pick up your food, and you're off about your day, while everyone else is still at the thing going, give me a Big Mac, give me...
I think I'll have... Oh.
Yeah.
Do you? Is that what you think you'll have? Yeah, that's...
I wish we can all understand real drive-through etiquette. Like, I wish that was like a rule. Like, we all just knew that, because, like, if you've got to order for 6 people and they all want to order and all, and you get your butt inside, don't go through the drive-through. Drive-through is for people that don't have a lot of time. They got to get going and things. And if you're slowing down the process by doing it, this is why the app's here now. If you've got 6 people, make them all order through your app, and then you just, when you get to the drive-through, 4-digit code, you're in and out. So you can do all that if you use the app. But if you don't use the app, drive-through is limited for like one person, get in, get out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not you to order the entire office's food through the teller guy. And then, this is 2024. We don't do that anymore.
Right. Speed it up, boss. Oh, turn 'em on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Turn Roy on.
It's probably just for one person sometimes.
Yeah.
One person that eats like 6 people?
That's right. That's for my friend will have. Yeah, right. Anytime someone says that,
yeah,
and they're by themselves, that's not for their friend.
I'm so glad the 20 for $5, the 20 piece nuggets for $5 is gone, because when I worked at McDonald's, that was like a travesty.
Well,
that was a death
every
sentence.
once in a while, it shows up on the app as a reward,
a deal,
or as a deal rather. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Where you can get a 20 piece for $4.99.
Well, people would order like 4 20-piece nuggets, and then they would not understand that it's all gone when you do that.
I am
you
curious,
took all the nuggets.
As a former McDonald's employee from a different era of McDonald's, because I worked there, we had something on our menu, and it was rarely ordered, but it had its own special button. Did you guys still have the Imperial? No?
I don't recall
The Imperial is 2 20-piece chicken nuggets, 2 large fries, 2 large drinks. It was a mamma jamma of an order. And
Wow.
I only ordered like once or twice in my time there, but yep. The Imperial has a special little button right at the bottom.
Sounds like the stuff of legend.
IMPRL.
Do not push the Imperial button. But definitely, big thank you to McDonald's as they do each and every Friday sponsor our
I finally
show.
looked up McDonald's. McDonald's.
Yeah, because we were noticing on our cups this morning.
See, mine doesn't have that.
My logo's upside down.
Oh, look at that.
And it's for an anime promotion thing they're doing.
Anime? Oh, okay.
I noticed there's Japanese text on the...
there's writing on the side there.
Oh, okay.
Japanese. Looks like 2 7s, a couple of messed up T's, a JL, and a...
messed up T. I mean, I don't think they would think that.
No.
Looks like to me. I don't know.
what it is it's like a fictional universe.
Okay.
Characters and stuff, but in an anime.
Looks like anime McDonald Land. But
yeah.
So
you could scan like a code.
Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, they're actually making like a manga for it that you can scan the code and read it digitally. And
okay, see, this is all the stuff the young kids are into.
The young people.
I'm like download the app and get like your Big Mac. Do that.
Like they actually hired like Japanese designers to design the food packaging and stuff.
We've said many a time on this show, McDonald's, when it comes to marketing and science of food, they
are the best.
They are second to none. That stuff. So it does not surprise me. But yeah, so there's promotions there that's probably not meant for old white people like me. It's probably meant for young kids.
For young white people.
And young ones, yeah. Not meant for a 50-year-old man. But big thank you to McDonald's, and download that app. Use it. And you were talking about the $4.99 chicken nugget in the deals thing. What trumps me now on that one is they always have the 20% you're off your entire order.
$5 or more, yep.
Deal. And I get that every single time. Because I'm not going to lie, I feel like sometimes when the other deals, they pigeonhole me. I'm like, maybe I don't want 2 cheeseburgers.
In that case, you can get the 6-piece and a double cheeseburger and only pay 29 cents for one.
And I get it. But sometimes I'm like, no, I want something else. And I still want a deal. So the 20% covers me.
There you go.
Because I like weird things like double filet of fish sandwiches and stuff. So, I order, like, I'm the guy that always goes to a color on the drive-through because my orders are the ones that are never the ones that everyone else orders.
It's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
We have to make Mike's fresh.
It's because I like weird things. I'm like, I don't get just a quarter pounder or just get a Big Mac. I'm like, give me a double filet of fish. Give me all these obscure things that people don't get orders off, and I like those. I'm a little weird like that.
And curses to any McDonald's out there, and there are McDonald's out there that don't serve baskets of fries.
Oh,
That's
really?
Very annoying. Yeah, when I'm on the road, you have to ask them, do you guys have the baskets of fries? And we don't. Okay, thanks.
Interesting.
It's something you want for a road trip.
Yeah, it's usually the ones on like I-40, the road trip McDonald's. They don't usually have them because they want to sell everything full price.
Yeah,
See,
that makes sense.
Our McDonald's, they love you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Although, and maybe this is me being rubish, I feel like a large fry fits in the cup holder a little bit better on road trips.
Sure. But a basket of fries fits better in my face on a road trip.
Yeah, but I'm not used to having people with me, so I need places to store these kind of things while I drive. So I can't hold a basket of fries and I don't trust it to lay it there.
Do you have a middle console?
I do.
Okay, pop that bad boy open, sit your basket in there, and now you got access for both sides, both you and your passenger.
My problem is my Jeep is the sucker of all things between the seats. If something goes there, you may never see it again.
You also are rarely traveling with passengers.
Very
so you
true.
could just use your passenger seat as a placeholder for your fries.
But it's so far away.
So far away.
Where's my cup holders? Right here. It holds the large fry just nice.
It is true. It is
and to
true.
be honest, since I'm by myself, a basket of fries, they're too cold by the time I get. You know what I'm saying? The large, it's a better heating vessel because it's compact and holds it hotter. It's just, for me, personally, that's a better thing. But
sometimes I also forget that Mike has T-Rex arms. So.
I do. I'm a tiny man.
I don't think I've ever put a large fry in a cup holder.
No?
I don't think I've ever done that.
Then, buddy, you ain't lived.
That's just a move. You do that. Matter of fact, if I had my druthers, there would be an oval-shaped cup holder just for fries on my console.
It's my fry holder. Cups. What is cups?
Yeah.
I stumbled upon a story that it literally, I had like, this is the strangest thing I've ever heard in my life. After girlfriend had an affair with boyfriend's grandfather.
Say that again.
After girlfriend had an affair with boyfriend's grandfather.
Wow.
He finds out that his son is his uncle.
Whoa. Hold on, I gotta get this. So she dates a guy, and then dates the guy's grandfather.
A man, according to a man on TikTok whose username is @Stacks1400, while he was living with his girlfriend, she reportedly was having a lovey-dovey relationship with his grandfather. I guess they were living with him at the time. Wow. Says, quote, found out my son was really my uncle. My granddad was my girl the whole time while we were staying with him. Says he's still going to treat his son like he's a son because that's how he's known him. He said, I can't believe I expected more from a man that had a whole other family around the corner from my granny house.
Wow. That's I'm still having trouble wrapping my
older
relationship.
brother's cousin was my first stepmother's wife.
This is literally this comedian's joke, but not a joke.
It's in real life.
Just curious.
Uh-huh.
They haven't say what part of the world these people
I
are
want to
from?
say Alabama. Because he did say my granny house. Like, he didn't say my grandmother's or my grandma's house or granny's house. He couldn't even like finish the word. He said my granny house. I'm not trying to make assumptions based on language patterns.
Yeah. So it feels south to you?
It feels a real little southy, yeah.
All right.
So I'd say West Virginia, Missouri.
Yeah, people in Maine don't talk like that.
Almost heaven.
Greenbow, Alabama.
Which is a fictitious town, by
It
the
is.
way. Don't. I was that kid in the '90s looking at Alabama Map one day and saying, "Is there Greenbow on here?" Then I was thinking, well, maybe it's not said Greenbow. It's just the way they pronounced it in there. Because I'm assuming it's a B-A-U-X thing or something there. French. Some French.
Cajun.
Oh, man.
That's a fun. I like the EAUX thing. It's rarely used, but when it's used, it's very like it's neat.
Yeah.
I saw a sign. It was like it was an album cover, and it said "These HEAUX."
These say it again.
HEAUX. These hoes.
Ah, okay. I didn't want to say it out loud in case it was but that's what I was getting to, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to. Hold on.
It was like
where to say it. Yeah.
That's really creative, but also kind of trashy.
Yeah. This hour we're gonna interview Paul Gessing from the Rio Grande Foundation. We're gonna have him call him here in about 20 minutes or so. So we'll chit chat for a little bit before we bring him on. Rio Grande Foundation is really a grassroots organization that's kind of a for New Mexico that keeps an eye on the issues and things, particularly when it comes to economy and what happens to your money and your freedoms. That's they're kind of a watchdog group that kind of keeps tabs on that kind of stuff. So Paul's been on the show multiple times, but Paul's going to join us in a little bit and kind of recap the legislative session that we just wrapped up with, and also he wants to invite you to check out his Freedom Index at his website, which is riograndefoundation.org. And if you scroll down the bottom, there's a thing called Freedom Index, and they'll tell you how all your local legislators, how your legislators vote. It's for the whole state, so everyone's local legislators voting on and kind of grades out on based on the things that they look at, and I know I remember hearing a story a couple days ago when this came out, and Candy Spence-Ezell, one of our senators now, rated very highly in that. Nice. I think she's the highest rated. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what he.
Can we quote him on that?
We'll quote
later?
him. Yeah, you
Okay.
quote him. Don't quote me.
All right.
I think that's what it was. So
I'm going to assume that MLG's somewhere near the bottom of that list. Or...
Methinks no. But yeah, so we'll have that conversation here in just a little bit. We'll get him going here. Big thank you to McDonald's. It's 8:20. Let's go ahead and take a gander at your weather. A little good, a little bad, a little ugly. All the above.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on this weekend. We have a big high-pressure system covering all of the southern states, and that'll keep us fair, sunshine, and mid-60s for the afternoon high today. Mid-30s and a few clouds overnight, and then our warming trend will continue on Saturday. We'll be in the mid-70s. Looks like a nice day with sunshine, about 80 and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 42 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 55%. Winds currently out of the north at 9 miles per hour. For today, expect highs in the mid-60s, partly cloudy with a high of 66 officially. Winds will be out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, cloudy during the early evening hours, but that should clear off. Expect an overnight low of 37 degrees with southeast winds at around 5 miles per hour. Warmer for your Saturday, sunny skies, a high of 75 expected. Winds will be out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. For Saturday night, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, overnight low of 42 degrees, south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Sunday, Mostly sunny, 82 for a high. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 15 miles per hour. So weekends turn out pretty nice. And then, unfortunately, Monday it all kind of changes. But Sunday night, mostly cloudy, 49 for an overnight low. And then Monday, the winds coming in, they say breezy, but they're talking patchy blowing dust for the afternoon. Partly cloudy with a high of 84. Mostly cloudy Monday night, 58. And then looks like the rest of the week, windy and 74 on Tuesday. Back down to around 60 on Wednesday of next week there. So a little bit of wind to start the work week there. All right, it is 8:22. We're going to take a commercial break here real quick, and then we'll be back on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply is your one-stop shop for farm and ranch supplies in southeastern New Mexico, with a friendly, knowledgeable team that can help you find the answer to your problems with brands you know, including Preferred, Pearson, Purina, High Pro Feeds, Ariat, Wrangler, Cinch, Justin Boots, and more. Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply are proud supporters of area sports, 4-H, FFA, and the farmers and ranchers of tomorrow. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 1105 East 2nd in Roswell. Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply, family owned for more than 50 years. Score a touchdown at your next tailgate with La Poblanita Party Tostadas, the perfect chip with the most satisfying crunch in the game. Flavored just right with El Charro's signature seasoning, it's the dippable chip that bites back. Make game night a winner with the chips everybody talks about. The chips that make bland salsas better and good salsas great. Snag a bag of La Poblanita Party Tostadas at your local grocery stores all over southeastern New Mexico. And get the party started with La Poblanita Party Tostadas by El Charro. They're all that and a bag of chips.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
At Artesia General Hospital, our board-certified podiatrists are committed to providing personalized care in a welcoming environment. Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa offer the latest surgical techniques and treat a range of conditions including arthritis, bunions, joint care, and more. If you're suffering from foot, ankle, or lower leg pain, we can help. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request an appointment and begin your journey toward happier, healthier feet.
Psalm 46, 10 and 11 reads like this: Be still and know that I am God. I'll be exalted among the nations. I'll be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. In today's world, we can feel like it's a battle just to get through the day. God calls us to fight for what is right. However, sometimes we need to just let God take the fight. Sometimes we just need to be still. It's imperative for our spiritual health to be still with God, to read His Word, talk to Him, meditate on His Word, and allow Him to refresh and rejuvenate our spirit. God gives us the weapons to fight and survive, but sometimes we just need to hide behind His shield while He fights the battle for us. We know that ultimately the battle is His, and He's already won the war. That knowledge gives us the strength and peace to continue through the day-to-day battles because we know the end of the story. As the song lyric goes, the battle belongs to the Lord.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Get ready, Roswell and surrounding areas. The biggest block party of the year is coming to the Liberty. The first annual Rock the Block Downtown Block Party, Saturday, April 6th, in the parking lot of the Liberty in Roswell. An all-day block party with fun for the whole family, plus food trucks and vendors, a beer garden, and more. Featuring Los Lonely Boys.
How far is heaven? Lord, can you tell me?
With special guest Shiloh.
I still don't get you, hard as I try. Is there no endeavor inside?
And Robin Scott.
When you turn and you walk away, it will be one big glorious day.
Tickets are available now at thelibertyinc.com. Get yours before they're gone. And don't forget about the after party live inside the Liberty. Gates open at 3. Tickets and more info at thelibertyinc.com. Rock the Block 2024. Saturday, April 6th in the parking lot of the Liberty, 312 North Virginia in Roswell.
So what do love and onions have in common? Well, they both can make you cry, and both are on our mind right now.
Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. February is a time for roses and chocolate kisses, but it's also a time to plant onions. Yeah, I know, you were wondering, where is he going with this? Growing your own onions is easy and fun, and we have everything you need to get started. So when you think of love, think of onion.
Just be sure and bring along a few breath mint.
Yes, dear.
Hey, this is Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing. Every storm chaser's worst nightmare. You know storm chasers, those out-of-town roofers that descend on neighborhoods after big storms. They come in, do a crummy job, then poof, they're gone forever. Well, a few years ago, our area had a hailstorm, and right on cue, storm chasers showed up. I was driving home from work one evening and saw one talking to an elderly lady on her porch. I said, "Not today, buddy." I did a U-turn, pulled in the driveway, and walked right up to them. I warned the woman who they were talking to, and I chased away the storm chaser. The woman's daughter called me later and said a storm chaser ripped them off a few years ago. She thanked me for stopping this one and chose Trustmark for her roof. Trustmark Roofing. Every storm chaser's nightmare. Every homeowner's champion. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring and roof gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF. Or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Pecos Valley Production is excited to announce their online ordering has never been easier because now you can order from PVP online in Spanish. Simply head for PecosValleyProduction.com and switch the tab on the bottom left of your screen from English to Spanish. Now, it's never been easier to get access to the healing and calming products you need simply and affordably. Just log on to PecosValleyProduction.com and switch the tab on the bottom left of the screen from English to Spanish. Pecos Valley Production. Dairy to dank since 2016. Must be 21 or over with valid ID to purchase.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 28 minutes after 8 o'clock. We'll talk with Paul Gessing here in about 10 minutes or so from the Rio Grande Foundation. Hey, for some of you, especially folks maybe live down South Artesia area, might have noticed a little rumbling this morning. Apparently, according to the United States Geological Survey, an earthquake of about a 4.0 magnitude was felt this morning south of Artesia. The earthquake began at around 2:47 in the a.m. and had a depth of approximately 6.1 kilometers. So I haven't heard many people around here say anything, but I did see a few people on Facebook in Artesia talking about hearing some rumblings and earthquake this morning there. So I've slept through most of the ones I've been in.
I've only ever noticed one, and that was here.
Yeah.
Actually in my office. But
I've noticed 2 or 3, but I've slept through at least a dozen, I think.
Mm-hmm. The smaller, ones, I mean, under 5, you almost don't even notice at all.
Yeah. Well, and
that's why I think they need to adjust the
scale.
And
I told you the one time, the one that happened here about a year ago during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
There was one that it was in the same week. So later in the week, we were sitting here in the office and it happened. I think you and I were sitting literally right here. I don't think we were on air. But
no, I think I was, because I remember the one I was at my desk and I remember feeling my desk move, but I didn't see it move.
And then the other was that like a day before, and I was home for lunch.
That was when you were in the bathroom.
Yes.
I remember that. I tend to remember all of Mike's
and I
bathroom
was
stories.
literally sitting on the toilet, and and I looked over, and I was like, "What?" And I looked over, and the shower's moving, and I'm like, "What's going on here?"
That's simultaneously one of those moments where you're like, "This is one hell of a dump."
Right? What did I eat? Like, man, avoid that one.
Honey, hi, the earth moved. Did you feel that?
Man, but yeah. So I've experienced them in the most odd places. Too.
That's true. That's
but like if it happens at night, I think one time I caught one at night, but most of the time I sleep through those. Like there was one in Maryland when we were visiting my family, and it was like I don't know, 8, 10, 15 years ago. I don't know. And it was during the summer in the middle, and it happened at like 6 a.m, and I slept through it. I didn't know. And then I woke up a little later, and everyone was like, "Did you feel that?" I'm like, no. My wife, I felt it. I was like, I was dead to the world. I didn't catch anything. So
That's I mean, I really think they need to adjust the seismic scale because, like I said, before 5.0, you really don't even feel it. But then, like, from 5 to 10 is insane. Like,
Right.
That's all of the earthquake.
Right.
But then, I mean, I just feel like it needs to be, like, adjusted a bit.
Right.
Like, they're adding a new category for hurricanes. They need to take a few categories off of earthquakes, I feel.
Right. Well, and they're so, like, they could be, like, earthquakes are so, they could be so extreme or so mild. And
But
it's so, like,
it doesn't really affect us as much down here because
Yeah.
we have all of our structures are pretty, like, low to the ground, firm foundation,
yeah.
set into, solid earth.
Right, but,
Whereas,
like, a
San
high-rise is-
Francisco,
yeah.
it's riskier.
And what was that magnitude of that one in the 90s? The big one.
The big one in San Francisco, I want to
Yeah.
say that was like an 8.
8 or 9, wasn't it? Yeah.
Something. The big one, actually, the major one was like 1912 or something like that. That's the whole reason that San
Right.
Francisco is all the buildings are built on springs, essentially.
But I just remember living through the one in the 90s, and so I look at that as the big one because
Mhm.
and the one thing I always think of when it comes to that big one was
89?
89, okay. There was the San Francisco Giants, the baseball team, were playing a game on, like, I don't know if it was national TV or something, and the earthquake happened during the game.
See, that was a 6.9.
Oh, is that all that was?
That's all it was.
Well, that thing was devastating.
It says the quake killed 63 people throughout Northern California, injured 3,757, and left some 3,000 to 12,000 people homeless.
Well, and it was, I think because, like, infrastructure of highways were falling and buildings were falling. And so to us, just seeing the media from it, it looked horrific. Like we said, this is a different time. So.
This one happened in 94. This was in Northridge, which is also in Southern California. This was also a 6.7, and this was 94, killed 57 people.
Now, which one's the one from the baseball game? Was that the one in 94 or was that 89? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Because it was Barry Bonds, and I just remember it was a baseball game, and it like happened during the game. And I don't think I was watching it live, but I remember just seeing the footage the next day all over the news and everything about the baseball clip of when the earthquake occurred during the baseball game. So
I'm going to say probably 89.
Okay.
Because, I mean, these both happened actually in the Northridge area.
Okay.
So that sounds like that's a real hot spot.
Yeah.
But
I really don't know. So, but either way, it was
definitely it was a shame.
It just seems like, and I guess if I grew up in a place where it happened all the time, I'd be a little bit more knowledgeable about them. But we never thought about it on the East Coast.
Yeah. It never occurred until I became an adult in places like Oklahoma and New Mexico.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people who are fracking, whatever reason it happens. It's happening a lot more in this region.
Like
now.
growing up for me, the natural disasters we worried more about were hurricanes. And actually Maryland is not that bad in the hurricane thing. Because it's right in the middle. And technically Maryland doesn't have much shoreline. It's only got very little.
Right.
Delaware and Virginia and other kind of suck up more of the shoreline than Maryland has. But they're still on the coast right there. But generally what happens is the mid-Atlantic, particularly right around Maryland, D.C. area, they get spared a little bit because usually if the hurricanes are coming from the south, which most of them are, they usually peter out by the time they get up there.
Right.
They're hammering the Florida and the Carolinas, but usually by the time it gets up to Maryland, it's just a lot of rain and
it's
a little bit.
Tropical storm at that point.
Yeah. Rarely does it stay hurricane form getting there. And then generally, I think they get more worse when it comes to the Northeast. When those nor'easters roll in, we can see some more damaging stuff from that sometimes.
See, I feel like sci-fi really missed out on an opportunity for a movie because coastal hurricanes, nor'easters, they suck up things that are in the water. Maryland, what's going to be in that water? Crabs. Hurricrab.
That's
Dude,
right.
I'm telling you, it's sci-fi if you're listening, hurricrab. Get Tara Reid on the phone right now. I got a certified smash. Can you imagine a hurricane full of crabs?
But that
they're mad because you've been fishing them, or crabbing them out for years. They want revenge.
To me, that's like heaven.
That sounds delicious. You just reach up and grab one.
I'm just running around with crab pots, catching these bad boys. And it's like cheeseburgers raining from the sky.
Yeah, but they're mad. They're out for blood.
I'm out for blood too. And meat.
I'm out for mustard.
And mustard. And yeah. I'm just running around sprinkling Old Bay on them.
I just picture Mike with a utility belt of Old Bay seasoning and some tongs, a bunch of rubber bands.
Well, then I could be your heroine. I could be when everyone is being attacked by the crabs. I come in and eat them
with heroin.
No, I meant to say hero. It kind of came out wrong. I think I tried to say heroin, maybe, or heroine. I don't know what I tried saying, but
so you're the crab of it. Yeah, the Hurra crab of India.
Yeah, I come in and I make crab cakes.
I like it. That's a superhero that uses his prey.
And then, as a side thing, I teach other people about the difference between devil crab and crab cakes. Because as I'm killing and serving said crabs to society, I'll be like, these are devil crabs.
You're really giving yourself a lot of extra time here. I mean, I feel like the Hurra crab itself is going to take up most of your time.
Just a pot, some boiling water, we're good to go.
This is also assuming you can stand your ground in a Hurra crab.
There's plenty of pots.
Things coming at you from every side, man.
That's right. Well,
you got to keep your head on a swivel.
I'll wear a helmet. We'll be all right.
When you're in a crazy Hurra crab fight, you have to keep your head on a swivel.
You got to throw back the females, though.
Yeah.
For the crop.
See, so now you're having a sex thing while all this is and educate.
Yeah.
I feel like you've become more of a professor at this
point. We
point.
only eat the males. We only serve and eat the male crabs. The females go back to the water to make more crabs.
And sure, but have you ever tried a female crab? I bet they're delicious. I bet they're holding them back from you just because they know how tasty they are.
They taste just like the other crabs. The only difference is you can tell the difference by looking at the breastplate. When you flip a crab over, the male breastplate, it goes. There's a thing you pull off, kind of like a tab. Before you crack the crab open, kind of like a soda pop tab. It's not, I'm swearing, that's kind of what it is. The male, if it's a male, it's the tab is wide and then goes skinny. Whereas the female one stays wide the whole time.
Gotcha.
And so you just look at the bottom and you can tell real quick, male, female. And
now I kind of want to do what are those called? Where you stab and you crack. Now I want to try that with a crab. Stab it in its side, crack it open, and see if I can suck the meat out.
All you're going to get is a little phalange and mustard. You got to go with, because again, you got to break again to get into the meat part, because they're all legs. I mean, it's the leg, and then the meat in the crab is just the muscle to move the legs. Past that, there's nothing else. Bless you. And it's all there. It's, I just saw the time. Let's do this.
Yeah.
It's closing on 8:40. I need to get Paul on the blower. Waddle daddle diddle.
That concludes this edition of Crab Talk.
Now I want Crabageddon or crab, whatever.
Her crab.
Her crab. I want that happening because I'm hungry. The crab sounds good. And you know how expensive it is? Shoot. Man. All right, 8:40. That's just raining money. 8:40. Let's pause for news, and then we'll bring Paul Gessing up here from the Rio Grande Foundation next. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. Did you feel that? The U.S. Geological Survey confirms a 4.1 magnitude earthquake struck this morning just before 4 a.m. The tremor centered about 9 miles south of the community of Atoka, New Mexico. At this point, we have no information to suggest damage or injuries. Roswell Animal Services is implementing a new policy to allow unaltered pets to go home with adopters with a sterilization agreement. Allowing pets to go home with community members before being spayed or neutered helps the city's animal services, currently being managed by Best Friends Animal Society to save more homeless pets in Roswell. The city says the new policy helps reduce the amount of time that a pet spends in the animal shelter, and that reduces stress due to confinement while also decreasing behavioral issues and the risk of contagious diseases. A public hearing scheduled for March 12th in Artesia regarding a couple of land subdivision ordinances, the first involving a final plat for Johnson family land, about 21 acres at 2877 Johnson Road. And the second ordinance is the final plat for Hawker & Sons Commercial Park on about 40 acres, separating that into 8 individual tracts. That land is located on Champion Street. The meetings are open to the public and will be held in the City Council chambers. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:42, and joining us on the phone this morning from the Rio Grande Foundation, Paul Gessing back with us. Good morning, Paul. How you doing today?
Well, it's good to be with you, Mike.
It's always glad to talk to you here. For folks not familiar, the Rio Grande Foundation is kind of a grassroots organization that really they kind of keep tabs on what is going on in the state, particularly when it comes to economics and crime and many of the freedoms in what they're trying to do in the legislature and protecting and taking away your freedoms. And so that's really what the Rio Grande Foundation, they're the ones that kind of try to put that kind of stuff out to the public so they know what's going on here. Is that pretty good summation of the Rio Grande Foundation?
Yeah, we're more of a watchdog and a think tank than a grassroots organization.
Okay.
We definitely work to educate and try to expose and highlight the issues that you just mentioned, though. That's definitely our area of interest, is the economy and your individual liberties, and hopefully advancing them and not just trying to fight battles to stave off fewer freedoms or having them taken away, for sure.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I would just wish New Mexico would get back to the middle. I mean, you can talk conservative, liberal, just get it to the middle where there's equal say in both sides in the room. We're not even near that at this point. So, but anyway.
Exactly.
So, of course, we just wrapped up the 30-day session here, and of course, we've seen the news and all of that. But from your perspective, what's some of the good and bad and ugly from this last 30 days that we want to highlight for people?
Well, the good is that a lot of bad ideas that we were watching and hoping they didn't pass. And 30-day sessions, a very short time period to push anything, good, bad, or ugly, and thankfully, most of the bad stuff did fall by the wayside. That included increasing royalty payments on the oil and gas industry. Royalties are a fancy way of saying tax on oil and gas, and there was a provision, HB 48, that was introduced to increase those royalties. That died. There were a lot of other proposals made during the session that, for whatever reason, fell by the wayside. But what I tell people is, we've got all 112 members of the legislature up. And if we keep going forward under the same legislative makeup, eventually some of those terrible ideas are going to gain traction. So it really comes down to the next election and changing the way the legislature works. So HB 41, Clean Fuel Standard, is going to drive up the cost of gasoline. It's not as simple as saying it's a 50-cent increase. I think that's possible, but the Clean Fuel Standard is going to empower an unelected board to monkey around with what we put in our gas tanks and how our cars work. And this has really been the area that this governor has come on strong when it comes to taking away our freedoms with the electric vehicle mandates, charging station mandates. They passed some EV-related tax credits, and then now what's going into your gas tank. So a lot of that, and
the problem,
there's a lot happening.
Yeah, and the whole thing with that, and the electric and the gas tax, all this stuff, it's it's all the guise of trying to go cleaner, trying to go better, this and that, and I think at the end of the day, all of us, sure, we want if we can do it better, cleaner, and more efficiently, we're all for that. However, the science, the infrastructure, none of that is in place to go that far or to make those changes that fast. And like what's the goal? Like 40% of cars sold in the state by whatever date it was, or electric cars or whatever. I mean, yeah, I get you're trying to set goals or whatever they're trying, but until an electric engine can do what a gas engine can, especially in places that are rural where they need trucks and things and towing and all that, no one's going to embrace that kind of stuff. Wait till the technology gets as good as the gas, then let's try it again. But that's there's all kinds of debates there.
43% by 2026.
Yeah.
So, coming right up around the corner. So, it's a that was of course passed before the session. Now,
Sure.
the thing that there's obviously bills, and then there's things that aren't even really discussed seriously. The thing that I wish was both talked about more in Santa Fe and that the media kind of questions is, what are we doing with all this money from the surplus? Because, of course, the Permian Basin, southeast New Mexico, is really booming right now, and it's boomed for several years, and it's spun off more than enough money for the legislature, if it was halfway responsible, to enact some really bold policies that would make New Mexico a more attractive state to do business in and live in. We're losing our young people. They're moving out of state. We are attracting some older people, but our population's stagnant. New Mexico's always been kind of the black sheep of the Southwest, where we've never been as economically advanced or attractive. And we could be embracing real tax reforms in the state of New Mexico right now, but we're just not. We're standing basically status quo, either spending most of it. So they increased spending by about $650 million this session. We've increased spending dramatically in recent years. No significant, some very minor tax reform, which is good, but we could be doing some really good and big things, and we're just not in New Mexico. And so eventually this oil and gas boom will kind of play itself out, and, will government just consume all of those resources, or are we actually going to make New Mexico a better state using those resources? And not many states even have that kind of opportunity, and we're in the process of just frittering it away.
Absolutely. And the part, even adding on to, kind of what you're saying here, not only do we have this opportunity, but we're a state that has a lot of needs, even more so than some of our, you look at the numbers. We rank near the bottom in every category that matters when it comes to education, business, all these other things. And like you're saying earlier, why isn't that money being put to upping those numbers instead of, what they're doing with it, basically?
Yeah, well, I have answers to that. And one of the answers is that, Democrats have controlled the state for more or less 94 years. Starting with 1930, they basically controlled this state. Well, why would you, if you're an elected Democrat, work to transform the state in a better direction and bring more businesses here when you right now have your political power from the status quo? So they figure, we'll just do what we've always done, which is stick it into government, whether it's spending right now or into various permanent funds and rainy day funds. And if we developed our economy, if we diversified our economy, we might lose our power. And look, I get that mindset, but holy cow, that's a terrible mindset. But
absolutely,
until the voters come around and say, this poverty thing's not as great as it's cracked up to be.
Sure.
We should do something different. We're going to continue down that path. So
Absolutely.
I think that's a big factor. And until those Democrats and their voters change their minds, we're going to be kind of stuck in this cycle.
It's more of the same here. And that kind of transitions to kind of what next we want to talk a little bit about here. And folks, I invite you to go check out the Rio Grande Foundation's website, which is riograndefoundation.org. You go there and you can kind of, if you want to learn more about the Rio Grande Foundation and particularly more of the issues that they really keep an eye on, I invite you to spend some time and read through there. But if you scroll down towards the bottom of the page, there is a thing that Paul's put together called the Freedom Index. And this is kind of a rating system of all of our New Mexico legislators on the issues that the Rio Grande Foundation kind of point out as things that we need to address as a state, and really how these representatives have handled decisions like that. So kind of tell me a little bit about the how all this came together, the Freedom Index.
Well, first and foremost, we've done it for over a decade now. We have votes going back to 2014. So we have 2024 now finalized. The results are in, and we do this very quickly, unlike some vote tracking. We really get after it during the session, and then after the session, we just had to make sure that we hadn't made any boo-boos. So it's really about the software. We use floor votes only, which it's something that you could argue would be better if we made committee votes part of it, but in New Mexico, it's really tough to track down committee votes, and so we use votes that are taken on the floor of the legislative bodies. We already pre-rate them, from a +8 to a -8, +8 being the very, very good bills, -8 being the very, very bad ones that are expanding government, taking away our freedoms. And when people vote on those, so if they vote no on a bad bill, they get 8 points, if that's an 8-point bill. If they vote yes on a good bill, they get 8 points, or everything in between. And then the software just adds up the vote totals, the numbers. And you see what that individual legislator's track record is. Now,
Interesting.
I will first say that each individual legislator has different pressures and faces different forces acting upon them.
Absolutely.
The House votes more often than the Senate, so the scores tend to be higher in the House. Southeast New Mexico tends to be a good conservative area with majority voters understanding free markets and limited government. There's some people in the Albuquerque area or this part of the state that are facing, 50% districts that could go either way. So you have to take those kinds of things into account. But ultimately, you really get a track record based on this session. And if you want to check out previous sessions, you can do that to see how people are voting on those pocketbook issues, education freedom and issues, and constitutional liberty issues. And that's really what we look at.
And to be honest, this is tools. And I preach this every time on this show. When it comes to election time, this is, despite all what people and hype tell you and try to steer your vote one way or another and try to tell you your vote's useless this way or that, all the tactics that are used, you need to kind of shut that stuff down and do your homework. And this is how you do it, is you go to places like the Rio Grande Foundation.org and you read this stuff and you check it out. So when it's time to see the people and the thing, you're like, okay, I know exactly where they stand. And now you're not making a decision based on, well, so-and-so says I'm wasting my vote here or this or that. You're the person reading the things. And if you go like through the Freedom Index, you can see exactly how these representatives vote. There is no, well, maybe it's right there in black and white. They voted yes on this bill. They voted no on this bill. That's a clear indicator on how they feel about these particular issues. So that's about the most direct way to find out how people feel, with less of the filters of everyone else trying to steer your vote in their direction, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And you can have an intelligent discussion with your legislators. It's tough, quite honestly, to influence them during the session. And that's why elections happen. And ultimately, the people you elect are going to vote by and large. I'm not saying you can't pressure them during an election or a legislative session, but it's really tough. It's really tough. They have to kind of have a mindset of, are they going to, for example, as a Democrat, are you going to embrace the progressive agenda that's espoused by the governor? Or are there issues we have concerns with her on and her policies? Or as a Republican, are you going to stand firm across the board? Or are you going to kind of be squishy and vote with some of the big government policies that the governor has espoused? And that's obviously current state of play here.
Absolutely.
And go through and see who those people are and what they're doing with their votes. And like Representative Jared Hembry. He's brand new, representing Southeast New Mexico. I'm looking at his score right now. He has a 38. The very highest scoring member of the legislature was Candy Azell, and she had a great session at 58. So, Hembry's right there. He's maybe voting a little differently than Azell on some issues.
Sure.
Well,
he's a new guy, and you can hopefully influence those types of people.
Absolutely.
To take more good conservative votes over time. And it works that way across the spectrum.
Yeah.
For all
you mentioned there, about the highest rating there with Candy Spence Ezell, and I think since she's our area here, and obviously I think most people that know her know that she's just one of those type of people that if she says it, that's what it is. You know what I mean? She's built that trust over the years doing that, and as Paul's pointing out, the track record to prove that. So that's what this is such a valuable tool. It's to, not only does it help you kind of form your opinion about these folks, but you can also find out if they're telling you the truth or not sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know we're about out of time, Paul, but I do want to ask one quick question, or it may not be a quick question, real quick before we go. Seeing, and now that we're done with this 30-day and the governor didn't get a lot of the, some of the things she wanted, and she's kind of, threatening about the session with the safety and all this and calling a special session. Whatever happens from all that, is going to happen. But is this a sign in any way of where maybe there's some more moderate Democrats starting to break ranks a little bit, or am I just reading into tea leaves wrong?
The House saw most of the activity when it came to those kinds of moderate Democrats. There were some critical issues, specifically 4-day school weeks, defending them from the governor, the clean fuel standards, some of the gun issues. There were paid family leave. It wasn't a consistent group necessarily, but any given number of about 8 to 10 Democrats in the House, typically representing more rural communities, they did often buck the trend of the Democrats just voting in lockstep together.
Okay.
So if you look at the Freedom Index, you can really tell that there's a lot of Democrats. They just, by the nature of our index, they hover around 0. Those are the ones who are kind of the more responsible, in my opinion. And then the progressives are voting in the -50, -40 range. And so, for example, by name only, and I don't even know exactly where these people are, but Tara Jaramillo and Leo Jaramillo, same last name. One votes at a 0, Tara Jaramillo. One votes at a -48, Leo Jaramillo. So obviously Tara is taking some votes, and while 0 is not spectacular, it could be a lot worse.
Exactly.
And, she's one of a group of about 8 to 10 who are voting in a more moderate direction. And
Zero's a
people
lot.
are going to need the support of folks as well.
Absolutely.
Just because the progressives have the money and the resources, and they'll come after you if they don't like what you're doing.
Yeah, it's back to that thing. It's New Mexico needs to get back to the middle. If you're conservatives at this point, the first goal is to try to get it where there's equal footing in the House, where representation's equal. We're nowhere near that, and if we can get there, that's a huge win. So, Paul, as always, appreciate the visit, and I got to get you on the phone more often and get your thoughts and opinions. So we need to get up to get that doing on a more regular basis here. But as always, Paul, appreciate it. And folks, check out his website, RioGrandeFoundation.org. You can learn more about everything we just talked about here and then some. And even if you want to get more involved and be a part of the foundation, there's links for you to do that too there. So, Paul, is there anything we missed that you wanted to get out there, or did we cover it all?
I think we're good. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Paul. Appreciate it. We'll have a good weekend. We'll see you next time, okay?
All right.
All right.
To you later,
Take
Mike.
care. Bye-bye. All right. That was Paul Gessing with the Rio Grande Foundation. And check out his website, RioGrandeFoundation.org. All right. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. News in progress.
And in song. And former President Trump is assuring the nation's religious broadcasters,
we're going to save this country. It will be thanks to the men and women like you, like the people in this audience, and we are represented by the best, the people who make God's work your work, God's work, your work. That's what you do, and I want to thank you all. Incredible job. Thank you very much.
Mr. Trump addressing the National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Nashville last evening. AT&T putting to rest speculation over the cause of yesterday's nationwide cell phone outage, saying it was not the result of a cyber attack, it was a technical issue. A privately owned lander has touched down on the moon. It marks America's return to the lunar surface after more than 50 years. After his release pending trial, Alexander Smirnov has been rearrested. The ex-FBI informant is accused of lying about a Biden family bribery scheme. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 188 points, while the Nasdaq is trading 30 points lower, and the S&P is up 8 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
A funeral today in Kenya for a world marathon record holder. His young life cut short in a car crash a few weeks ago.
Thousands have paid tribute to Kelvin Kiptum in his hometown, Eldoret. Crowds gathered along the way as the hearse was driven to his village ahead of the burial. His career as an athlete was only just starting. In 2 years, he'd run 3 of the 7 fastest marathons in history, broken the world record, and set the London course record. He had set his sights on running a sub-2-hour marathon in Rotterdam this April.
The BBC's Anne Soy. German lawmakers vote on a government plan to liberalize rules on cannabis. Change would decriminalize limited amounts of marijuana, allowing members of so-called cannabis clubs to buy it for recreational purposes. Today's vote in the parliament's lower house comes months after Chancellor Schulz's cabinet gave its blessing to the plan. News and analysis, townhall.com. Marine scientists have been investigating what's been a most intriguing phenomenon of the ocean deep.
Whales sing loud enough that the sound travels through the ocean, but how they do that has been a mystery. A new study says whales have a specialized voice box that isn't seen in other animals. The study was too tiny to be definitive, but experts say the discovery will direct future research into how whales communicate. The research looked at voice boxes from 3 dead stranded whales. Lab experiments showed the whales use a cushion of fat and tissue to sing. Keith Peters reporting.
Several Federal Reserve policymakers warn against cutting interest rates too soon or by too much. They're urging caution following recent data showing inflation remained stubbornly and unexpectedly high last month. The worry is that moving too fast to cut the rates could allow inflation to rise again after it has declined significantly in the past year. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Infiernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Friday.
Yes. Broke the bell. The bell gave up for the weekend.
The bell said it's already Friday. In my world, we're taking it off. But happy Friday. Big thank you to the fine folks at McDonald's because they make our Friday oh so much special every time.
Yes, indeed.
Delicious breakfast treats. Although I had not partook today. I need to get in there and nose around in the bag.
Yeah?
I saw him. He had his oatmeal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Roy's over eating sandwiches.
It was actually kind of nice, too, because the oatmeal was at the very bottom of the bag, so all the sandwiches on top were, like, insulating it.
So it's like a heat blanket for the oatmeal.
That's how you deliver oatmeal.
Yeah.
And sandwich insulation.
And oatmeal's got to be hot.
It does.
You can't.
Well, it's got to be warm.
Cold oatmeal is starts usually some kind of Hansel and Gretel fairy tale story that you don't want to go down.
Cold oatmeal is spackle.
Cold oatmeal is building material.
It is. It's indigestible.
Yeah, there's something.
It's got to be hot or warm to maintain its viscosity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, in certain things, just you can't. You know, I'm that way with fries. You know, they got to be hot. That's why I was back to the basket thing. It's like, it's great until you get halfway through that basket, and I'm like, I need a reheat.
I wonder because I know I'm not the only person who learned the word viscosity from a Valvoline commercial.
Oh, yeah. Chevron with Techron and their viscosity breakdowns. And they used to do those commercials with the fake scientist guys.
Right.
And I think it was castor oil. Castrol. Okay. Castrol used to, and they would run the engines without the oil, and then one would blow up first, but the one in castor oil or castrol, or whatever it was called.
Right.
Because it didn't do the viscosity breakdown. Yeah, it was castrol.
The one
castrol.
So I used to watch when I was a kid. I used to watch WCW Monday Nitro, and they had Valvoline as a sponsor. I just remember the commercial always talked about Valvoline is best for preventing against viscosity and thermal breakdown.
Yeah.
Because every time I hear the word viscosity or viscous, I always want to add the word thermal breakdown.
See, that's that's your version. Mine is the Retson.
Right.
I'm Retson. I'm like, they hawked Retson like it was the most amazing invention known to man.
I've never heard of it since.
In the 80s, certs with Retson. And they were all about it, and the Retson.
Certs are still a thing. Retson, not so much.
But do they have Retson, or do they promote with Retson?
It's still got the blue center.
But I need to pick up the package of certs and see if it says with Retson or anything on it.
I don't think it still does. I'm curious if it's in the ingredients.
And I was like, where does one acquire this Retson of which you speak?
Let's see.
Is it at the nougat store? Or keep all the nougat for your Snickers?
What is? I think we've looked this up before. But,
yeah, probably.
Let's see. Certs was a brand of breath mint noted for frequent use of 2 mints in one, marketing classic mints with the disc shape that was filled with Retson. Okay, it doesn't say there. What are the ingredients in Retson? Okay. The mints contain Retson, a trademark name for a mixture of copper gluconate, partially hydrogenated cottonseed oil, and flavoring. That's right. I remember why they got taken off the market, because they have trans fats.
Ah.
Certs had trans fats. That's why they got pulled.
Ah.
I learned that from an episode of Good Mythical Morning. They were doing a discontinued
product. So Retson has trans fats?
It's partially hydrogenated cottonseed oil.
All right, then.
There you go.
Well, bummer.
Get a little fatter, kids. Certs.
But your breath is minty fresh.
Just fat dripping off of minty flavored fat.
Yeah. So if you do get extra onions on your McDonald's sandwich today, maybe get a Tic Tac instead.
There's a fun fact, too. Tic Tacs are almost entirely made of sugar.
Oh, I get it, because they're the best of all the mints.
But because they are only 0.5 grams, they can advertise
that they don't. Yeah.
They're sugar-free, because they can round it down.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, if you're watching your intake that much where a Tic Tac's going to push you over, maybe we got to reassess your plan here.
Let me let me put it into perspective. There was a time that I was on I think I only made it to 47 hours fast, and that would have broken it. A Tic Tac would have broken my fast because it's caloric intake. It doesn't matter.
I mean, come on. Tic Tac.
I know. I understand. It's
Swallow a bug.
1 and 1/2 calories.
You got a better chance of swallowing a bug on the on your bicycle ride here. Mm-hmm. That ruined your fast too. Ate a fly. Dang it!
That's why you always got to wear the mouth guard when you're cycling.
That's right. Don't smile while biking.
Like Grandma always used to say.
That's right. Oh man.
So
that was okay. And I heard this probably in a joke when I was a teenager.
Okay.
And for a good hunk of my 20s, I told everybody that when I died, I wanted to be buried with my butt hanging out of the ground so people could park their bikes.
That's pretty good.
I was for a good 10 years of my life, I told everybody that wanted to hear that story.
I used to say, speaking of that one, I used to say that I wanted to be cremated, but only from the waist up.
Yeah.
And then I want an open casket funeral. Just my legs.
Well, they never show they never show that side.
Right.
That's where my Uncle Tommy is.
I'm changing stuff up a little bit.
I've told that story 3 times. But my grandmother, she died, and my Uncle Tommy died before. It was her brother, and he got cremated, and his urn just turned up missing. For years, it was gone. Then my grandma died, and at her wake, his urn just magically showed up.
Wow.
We didn't know what to do with it. So my mom and my uncle, and my sister, they were like, I don't know what to do with it. So we, unbeknownst to the funeral home, we
combined
the leg part of my grandma's funeral. That's where the urn got stuck, down there by her feet. And that's where Uncle Tommy's buried in an urn in my grandma's casket at the.
That's wow. The only way that story would be better is if Grandma got cremated also, and they just decided to go ahead and make a little cocktail.
Little ash cocktail. Yeah.
A little bit of Grandma, a little bit of Grandpa.
No.
You don't know which parts
mine
are which.
was more deliverancy than
That's
that.
pretty good, though. Just always at Grandma's feet, too.
Yeah. He's the horse jockey, by the way. I'll tell you the stories about the horse. Yeah, my Uncle Tommy was, all the stories of him. And his death is very reminiscent of how he lived his life. So it does not surprise me. So it makes complete sense that his urn is at the feet of my grandmother's casket.
He's a jockey, so low to the ground.
Yeah.
That's how he lived his life.
Well, he got banned for life for cheating, so he couldn't do that anymore. But, so a little short alcoholic out there.
Only took him a little bit, though.
Well, he lived with my grandma for a while, and this was at a time when my grandma babysat me, and so he lived down in the basement. And him being an alcoholic, he used to hide his liquor or drink up whatever liquor was. Like my grandma used to have like Jack Daniels with like in old car bottles and collectors things.
Oh, yeah. And
they were just sitting on shelves in the house.
Right.
They're all filled with water by the time Uncle Tommy got done with them. I don't know. I remember one time there was a bathroom down in the basement where we played. I remember flushing the toilet and hearing this wrangling. Sure enough, his little pint bottle was in the tank in the toilet. Found that, had to out of that. So eventually my grandma threw him out. But old Tommy. Uncle Tommy.
Old Tommy.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I better get the interview going. I did want to talk about Coke Spice, though, real quick. I saw a commercial for that.
It's raspberry and
spices. Yeah. And I saw a TV commercial, like on network TV for it. So I was like, well, this must be a big deal if they're doing a network TV
I'd be curious to
ad for
try it if I can find it in the stores.
I've only seen it in Coca-Cola, though. I haven't seen like a zero version
according to the website, they do have a zero.
Okay.
It comes
the
in both,
commercial only promoted.
Which is weird because usually the commercials lately have been just pushing the zero varieties.
Well, I'm thinking Coca-Cola's experiencing a shift in their products. I think a lot less people are buying regular Coca-Cola.
Well, that's just it.
And they're buying the zeros. Yeah.
They have a zero variety as well.
I'd be very curious. I'm curious to try it.
But I watched a video that Coca-Cola is putting the zeros front and center in their marketing now, specifically for that reason, because people are steering away from full lead sodas in favor of water and healthier drinks.
Well, and quite frankly, Coke and Pepsi have a lot more competition now than they used to. So they gotta keep with those trends because let's face it. Our generation are the heavy soda drinkers.
Yeah.
Our younger, they don't. They drink the energy drinks and the juices and the teas. And so Coca-Cola is like, wait a minute, they're not just buying a Coke anymore.
Right.
We need to up our game here. So
pretty soon you're gonna be sitting on the corner drinking a Coca-Cola out of a bottle. They'll be like, okay, Granddad.
That's right.
Okay, Boomer.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna play our interview with John from Oasis Computers. He joined us on Wednesday to talk tech, and he talked tech real good. So we're gonna do that here in just a few minutes. But before we do that, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on this weekend. We have a big high-pressure system covering all of the southern states, and that'll keep us fair, sunshine, and mid-60s for the afternoon high today. Mid-30s and a few clouds overnight, and then our warming trend will continue on Saturday. We'll be in the mid-70s. Looks like a nice day with sunshine, about 80 and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 47 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 50%. Winds currently out of the north at 9 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy, what they're saying, but I don't see one of those clouds out in the sky right now, so maybe that's coming later. Expect a high of 66 today with northeast winds at around 5 miles per hour. They're saying cloudy early evening and then gradually clearing, but I think it's got to get cloudy first. Expect a overnight low of 37 degrees. Southeast winds at around 5 miles per hour. Saturday, increasing clouds, but warmer. 75 for a high. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy. 42 for an overnight low. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Sunday, we're back in the 80s. Mostly sunny. 82 for a high. Northwest winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday night, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 49. And then Monday, warm, mid-80s, but windy. Well, they say breezy, but expect patchy blowing dust after 11. That's from windy, not from breezy. And then Tuesday, supposed to be pretty windy, and then we're back down into like 60 on Wednesday. All right, 9:18, we're going to take about a 3.5-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview with John from Oasis Computers. Don't go away.
Psalm 46, 10 and 11 reads like this: Be still and know that I am God. I'll be exalted among the nations. I'll be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. In today's world, we can feel like it's a battle just to get through the day. God calls us to fight for what is right. However, sometimes we need to just let God take the fight. Sometimes we just need to be still. It's imperative for our spiritual health to be still with God, to read His Word, talk to Him, meditate on His Word, and allow Him to refresh and rejuvenate our spirit. God gives us the weapons to fight and survive, but sometimes we just need to hide behind His shield while He fights the battle for us. We know that ultimately the battle is His, and He's already won the war. That knowledge gives us the strength and peace to continue through the day-to-day battles because we know the end of the story. As the song lyric goes, the battle belongs to the Lord.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Double Up Days are back at Roswell Honda, and that means up to $2,000 becomes $4,000 towards your next vehicle. Get a 2017 Ford Explorer just $319 a month, or a 2019 Nissan Versa just $209 a month. Get a 12-pack of soda and a Vegas trip voucher just for stopping by, a shot at the cash grab with a test drive, and 2 tickets to Apex Cinemas with any purchase. And join Roswell Honda February 24th from 10 to 1 for free food, stuff for the kids, and your chance to win a 75-inch smart TV at 1 p.m. Double Up Days are back at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
I read a quote once that said, when you blame others, you give up your power to change. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
We all want to play the victim at times. It even feels good to feel sorry for ourselves. But that puts a lid on our life. It stunts our growth, it damages our marriages, and if you have children, it can even hurt them.
It can seem like a daunting task to take responsibility for our actions. But the Bible says in Philippians 4:13, we can do everything through Christ who gives us strength.
If you've never experienced the love of God, then you don't know your true potential and don't realize how good God is. When you're feeling like a victim, turn to God. He'll give you the strength to move beyond yourself and help you have a victorious marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Wakefield Oil Express has the highest quality service in Roswell with a 17-point full-service oil change that includes a full wash and vacuum at their car wash. You won't find a better deal. They also offer full synthetic oil changes, fuel and cabin filter replacements, and will even check your battery. Their tunnel wash isn't afraid of dirty vehicles. They have the best value wash in town with free vacuums. They even offer wash passes that can be used for multiple vehicles. Next time you need your oil changed, go to the fast and efficient Wakefield Oil Express and let them earn your business. 3204 North Main, Roswell.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
The University of New Mexico offers affordable, top-tier education year after year. The New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship and free application for student aid may provide funding to pay for school. Apply to UNM and learn more about the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship at admissions.unm.edu.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, now officially, John's back with us with Oasis Computers. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
How's life at Oasis Computers this morning?
This morning, we don't know. I got to go out of town, so whoever's listening, don't show up today. I won't be there.
Today, the office will be closed to take repairs and
back
stuff.
Back tomorrow.
But back in full business hours.
Just need to get out of town for a day.
Good deal. We got to do it. Well, that's kind of the world of a small business owner,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're pretty much the one employee right now.
Yep.
So when you're
not there, nothing happens.
That's right. So, but don't worry if you can come on in first thing in the morning tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Get there at 8 o'clock. He'll be ready and waiting for you to take care of you here. But for today, he's going to do radio and then off to. Hey, go! You a burger fan?
No, not
okay,
necessarily.
I'll say they have a Five Guys in Las Cruces, but if you like burgers, they're pretty good ones.
Probably go up there, pick somebody up, go back.
No sightseeing.
Not really. No.
Oh well. But for folks not familiar, John joins us each month, and we talk technology, give advice, whether it's hardware, computer issues, or software updates.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of cover the gamut, all that stuff, and just good advice on your own maintenance with computers and keeping track of your passwords and things like that. That's really half the battle.
Yeah, no, it's the whole battle these days.
It's because it's all about recovery now, and everything's attached. So it's not like back in the day when you buy a computer and then you get you have it, and then you get another computer. If you're smart, you copy a hard drive and because you got your pictures and stuff. For the most part, you got a new computer, you kind of start it over. You know what I mean?
Yes and no, and that's where the change is coming in.
Yeah.
We start seeing it every day more clearer. The how to put it? What we used to do was get a machine and then, like you said, copy all the files off and fix the machine or sell a new one or whatever, and then make sure the files showed up on the new computer.
Yeah.
Well, it gets more and more that I get the answer, well, I don't care for that. And that's because everything is slowly going online.
It's all going to the cloud, yeah.
And, how do I put that? The fight against Microsoft, I don't want it online, what most customers come in not wanting that, is changing.
That's
and
the way
it
of the world
is
now.
Going more and more. If you fight it, I call it you quit swimming upstream.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier if you just go with the flow or start learning something totally different that has nothing to do with Microsoft.
Yeah.
What for my customers is not really an option.
Well, we're at the point where the internet, cloud-based things, it's no different. We're getting to the point where it's like, sure, you can have a car or whatever, but if you're not willing to use the roads, then what's good of having the car? You know what I mean? It's kind of...
Well, the technology's changing to tablets and to the phone more and more.
But it's getting to a point where you're going to need to be a part of it because that's the cost of living in society.
Yeah,
today,
if you do computers, you just about have to have a smart cell phone also.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, when somebody loses their account and they manage to have a cell phone set up with it, we can a lot of times retrieve the account by sending the message to the cell phone or possibly another email account. So it looks like having 2 emails is a good thing because you can send information back and forth if something goes wrong in one of the accounts.
Sure.
Then next is the cell phone is really tied to it for security, 2-factor authentication to do something on the phone when you try to get in something.
And that's why we can never remember our passwords anymore because we don't type in as much because we're busy using our face or our thumb or something.
Not having any passwords, but it's kind of a mess right now.
Yeah.
So with all that, if you do a computer, you need to have like a cell phone almost also.
Yeah.
And then, especially if some older people have set it up themselves. So these days, Microsoft sort of forces you to turn your computer into a Microsoft
and if you're not
account.
reading all the OKs, the next thing you know, you've just...
No, you can't get past it unless you know how. It's not obvious. You need to know something that's not on the screen.
Right, exactly.
How to do it. So for most... Again, of my customers, that's not an option. They don't know. They will end up with some kind of a Microsoft account. Then we'll find it's set up incorrectly. It could have done better. It's not necessarily incorrectly, but, it could have been just done better.
Sure. Little more streamlined.
And so the older folks will see the point and put your phone number in here. So they think for a minute and go, I'll put my landline in it because that's a better system. Well, that's no good at all. You come to the store and it's like...
Can't text it, can't do nothing to it, yeah.
If you're lucky, it says text or message to a phone and spoken message. So what is your phone number? Whatever it is. And then it's like, do you have it with you? No, it's my home phone. Okay, you can go home and you can wait with the phone. When you come home, call me first. I'll send the text or the message. You will get a call with the message in it. And then call me back with what the answer is. And then maybe we can open your account up.
Yeah.
So you can see that don't work. And then, landlines don't really do texting.
Mm-mm.
So sometimes you can
only
get a text. So
yeah, you're right. You need that cell phone to just get into anything or do anything or access anything. And I know you mentioned landlines. And so I'm one of those people that I got rid of my landline probably 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And because I haven't had it for so long, I forget people still have landlines sometimes because I just, you know what I mean?
Right.
I forget that because we just don't live in a world
of course,
with
a landline is not really a landline anymore either.
No, it's internet-based
except for the
too.
last, from the curb to your home. Is
even here in our office, we use Ooma Office. It's all internet-based. It has nothing to do with a phone line.
No, it all goes through the network.
Yeah, exactly. So that's even I mean, I think there's other people that provide home phone service that aren't phone companies, like your cable and TV providers, I think, and that's all again internet-based phone this way. So it's not even it's a cell phone using a different
telephone company with the telephone line coming in.
Yeah,
it goes a little down the street and turns into fiber also, and it goes on the network.
Yeah, it's kind of I'm going to guess at some point we probably won't see phone lines anymore. It'll all be fiber.
They wanted to kick them out. There was an article in it a week or two ago. I read something somewhere that they're working on getting rid of the landline, but like so many things, in a way, it is more reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got to think about it twice too. The telephone line gets powered by batteries if power goes out.
Mm-hmm.
They have a whole battery of
backup
batteries.
systems. Yeah.
Yeah. So, with as the landline is coming into most people's house, not the one from cable or from something else,
mm-hmm.
that those wires are powered, 30 volts or something like that. And if you have just a simple old regular phone, nothing fancy with whatever on it, just one of those cheap phones, you can make a phone call if there's no power or nothing.
Gotcha.
So that's a benefit. But,
absolutely.
Do you keep that up for that reason?
Well, it's kind of like, every once in a while, a couple times a year, we'll have the ham radio club on the show here, and to me, for those folks, because of their technology, it works when all else doesn't usually.
Right, but compare that with phone lines, maybe is they got their own equipment and talk to each other without any other infrastructure.
And so I think because of that reliability, it will never, ever, ever go away. It may not be popular or used very often, but there will be people on the planet that still actively do that kind of stuff.
Right, but a phone line needs infrastructure. You need a cable running down the street, whatever. So I think that phone lines indeed will disappear eventually, as the traditional phone line, a couple wire that comes in. But the people that do the radio, whatever, they may hang around for a long time to come.
Well,
because that replaces your phone line then if there's emergency.
And those guys are relevant even today, especially places like where we live. Whenever, people go up in the mountains and go camping and get lost up there, guess who they're calling to help part of the communication? It's the ham people.
Right.
Because their cell don't work up there. Half these radio, but the ham guys, they can communicate. So so sometimes the old technology is your best friend.
Right.
and ham's usually one of those ones that points that out every time.
Of course, that's changing too. Think of Starlink. Take your computer with you or whatever and put your little dish up to see the thing, and you have pretty much internet anywhere in the world.
We to be honest, pull back the curtain. We have a Starlink for our company. We use it. We've used it a couple times when we go do sports games.
Right.
And we're out in places like, that don't have good internet, some of these smaller towns and things. And the couple times we used it, Starlink worked like a champ for us.
I hear it works real good. I have not had any experience with it, but
we got one about 6 months ago.
Got a couple of people come in that when it came up, and they said, "Oh, that's great."
Yeah.
So it's fast and good.
It's good high speed internet, and it works pretty much everywhere you take it. That's the wave of the future. When something is that needed, and then you could literally go to the most remote places of the country or the planet, and in theory have internet. I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
Until you get used to it, and then it's normal.
Well, exactly.
Just like everything else.
Well, and it's like we were talking about technology and things, and you and I grew up in an era where there's a phone booth on every corner.
Yeah,
and now it's like
when I was a kid, we did not have phones.
Yeah, and there's nowadays, you ask younger generations, and they wouldn't understand that concept of these blue boxes and red boxes, or on every street corner, or you go to the airport and there's a whole row of 20 phones sitting there for people to use. That's all gone away now, and
changes in technology.
Yeah, shoot. The 80s Superman movie makes no sense because there's no phone booths for Superman to change it to nowadays.
That's right.
Clark Kent had the phone booth, and now Clark Kent don't get no phone booth. So.
Right. So, use the cell phone, I guess.
Yeah. Of course, there's the other problem that they don't get to experience, too, is if when you get into major cities like New York City, getting in one of those phone booths could be a crapshoot. It could be because sometimes they also served as homeless people's houses, and or a drug, like a guy's drug corner. Basically him taking calls as beeper or whatever.
Like everything else, whatever good use it gets abused to or has bad use.
So you don't deal with that anymore either. You got your own cell, but it's just that's one of those things to me that I literally was a staple growing up, and now is the dodo. It's gone.
Right.
It's gone. So.
Of course, as a kid, it didn't matter. I could find a phone booth, still couldn't call home. Home didn't have a phone. But we survived anyway.
It wouldn't do any good. Oh, but now I always wonder now, like, do the Amish, Because like the Amish, like back in the day, like because they don't have phones and
smoke signals.
Yeah. But usually how they worked it out for like emergencies was the town they lived in had like one payphone that sat on like a phone pole on the outskirts of town. So in theory, if someone needs a medical issue or something emergency related, or I think if they need to conduct business,
right,
that they can make the phone call. Like if they're selling their furniture or some of their goods, they need to make a phone call to talk with contractors and whatever. I think there's permissions for that. But and so now I wonder, is that still a thing, or is there like a town cell phone that sits in the parish somewhere that they do this kind of stuff?
I have no idea, and it actually has never crossed my mind.
Yeah, just be curious.
Right, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, we got a little off topic there. But, but the point is, we're kidding in this world where you're going to have to accept the fact that if you want to do things on a computer, you're going to have to plug into the internet. You're going to have to do something because even to set up a simple email account,
it's just
nowadays,
like what the phone went through.
Yeah.
Phone was invented, and big business and rich people had a phone, and everybody else did not. Then it got more common, but still was relatively expensive. But
Sure.
You could afford it. And then it got real commonplace, and now it gets replaced by the cell phone. But if you for a certain time, I imagine. It's just expected that you had a phone at home. You want a job, whatever. We'll let you know. We call you.
Yeah.
And now it's the cell phone. It's just what we find now is it's almost getting to the point you can't run a computer if you don't have a cell phone. It's just getting close to that, depending on what you want to do with it.
Right. But we're in our world where you can't live your life without a cell phone. It's getting to the point, especially when we hit the pandemic, where you couldn't even walk into a store and say, here's $5, give me a thing of milk, I'll see you later. You couldn't even really do that anymore. It was all done online, delivery, and you had to have a cell phone, internet access, to do all that kind of stuff. And that was the big challenge during COVID, was getting people access to that stuff that normally didn't have access to that.
Yeah,
stuff.
It's amazing how much technology was suddenly used in a different way.
Yeah. And so I think that we were going that way anyway. I think COVID forced our hand a little bit to speed up that.
Yeah, it changed a lot of things. The working from
timeline.
home. Look at all the empty buildings these days.
Sure.
That's becoming a problem.
Sure.
It's a lot of
well, as business owners, there's all business owners, even John, he's a mom and pop business, and he's all about customer service. But at the end of the day, it's about how much money he spends versus how much money he brings in. And that's how a business works. And so businesses found, I can bring in more money and put out less by doing it this way. Maybe that's the model for our business now, and some have gone that way.
Well, it's not, I can't run the store from my home, and that's not allowed, point one. And so certain
it won't work for you.
kind of work needs to have a place of business.
Sure.
But, anybody that comes to work and sits the whole day in front of a computer to give quotes out or whatever, may just as well do that from any other place.
Yeah.
The beach, if you wish to, or
your bedroom or wherever.
Whatever, yeah.
Exactly. Or the coffee shop down the street. But,
and, that's a problem for some people because now the boss has nobody to commandeer around. And
that requires people that are responsible and can be left to their own devices.
Measure by a different standard. I mean, it's not 8 o'clock. Are you here? And then you have your 15 minutes off for a coffee break or something. No, now you've got to measure, is there productivity? Does the job get done?
There's quotas, there's deadlines, things like that.
If somebody wants to work in midnight, if that works for that particular work, and they like that, okay, fine.
As long as it meets the deadlines and the parameters of what they got to do,
So, I don't know. It's just changing world.
Sure, absolutely. But with that does come that, like you said, that, and that's, and then, I mean, technology-wise, that's a good thing. Because, any way you can make things simpler for society, I think, all in all, that's a good thing. Socially, I don't know if it's the best move because we are human beings and we do need to have human interaction. I think we do have a bit of a disconnect in our society right now because of technology.
Yeah,
I think, but I mean, it's not like, but I, you know, I think this is one of those ancillary bad negative side effects of technology. Is there's people now that are lacking social skills because they're not in room with people anymore.
But then you can make a point, you know. Listen to the song "Look at All the Lonely People."
Yeah.
When did that come out?
Yeah.
There were no cell phones when that came out.
It's true.
And there's still somebody made a song about "Look at All the Lonely People."
Yeah.
So it may be worse.
Yeah.
Like, you could have put
But it's just
worse.
like, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like the protocol of in a meeting and stuff, and you learn that by sitting in a room and being in it sometimes, and sometimes I wonder if some of that gets lost to certain people, but I don't know.
It has all its benefits and drawbacks, I guess.
Yeah.
It's good to meet up every so often with your peers and to see what's going on. But I just talked to my cousin in Germany again on Friday, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on the cell phone these days. And it's like he's right there.
Right.
You know, so...
Yeah, oh yeah, technology and that side of it, and actual communicating. It's just, I guess the one thing I notice is, and I'm not trying to pick on generations here, but it seems like we have a lot of younger people that when you try to have one-on-one conversations with them, it's like pulling teeth. It's like they're offering no back and forth. It's just.
But you're doing it wrong. You need to do one-on-one through the cell phone.
I guess.
Text them while you're sitting right next to him.
I guess. Maybe that's it. I'm just like, it's like, how's your day? Good. It's like, okay. Good talking to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. And maybe that's my old man, me getting out. I don't know.
Yeah, don't forget that as you get older, you start looking at things different.
And that's something I try to remind myself every day is I'm no longer the happening crowd.
My dad had a saying, you know, you would ask why or what, and say, well, you wouldn't understand, but you probably get it when you get my age. But then we still have a problem because when you get my age, I'm so much older again that my life has changed.
Right, it's still
and
a
yours
gap.
has changed. So what I'm saying now, you understand, but what I'm saying in the future, you may still missing it until you have lived through that.
Till you. Well, and that's no different than when, you know, when you're raising your kids and the dumb things you did and you're trying to express that to your kids, like, look, don't do this. I did it. It was dumb. Please.
But the thing overlooked is times change.
Yeah.
You know, people that grew up in a different area had to fend for themselves in a different way.
Sure.
They learn the mistake they made, or so as they think the mistake they made. Done it this way would have been better.
Yeah.
And they try to teach that to the kids. But the circumstances have changed, and it may not matter no more. It's kind of like the computers.
Sure.
People keep pushing to do things the way we did it. Microsoft, that most people use, Windows, pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
And lately I've been saying that within the next 4 or 5 years, we look back to now and before. And it's, yeah, I remember when we did it that way. Wasn't that kind of stupid, or wasn't that kind of nice, depending on how you know how the future brings?
Sure.
But it is definitely changing how the computer is used and how it's being backed up and whatever. It I don't know if I would say I hate to say it, but it does get better, even though most people at the moment can't see it.
Sure.
I think it'd get a lot better.
And let's face it, that world, we're always in a learning curve because the technology moves so fast, and it is, you know, and there's so many cutting edge advances right now in computer science in general. From AI
sometimes you just can't keep up with it. You can't see the forest for the trees.
And that's where I think part of the problem is when you get people, it's like, oh, check out this new technology. I just heard about it, and be like, oh, that's been out for 10 years, and it's actually like second generation technology.
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean? And then when you get to our age, we're not so used to that fast change. It's like, I got a phone. I just got this thing. Oh, but you've had it a year. It's already outdated.
Still usable though. So.
Yeah, but there's that mindset of I don't know.
Well, I look at that stuff, you know. Does it do the job for me?
Yeah.
And I don't care what somebody else thinks, whatever. But do understand the computers. I say this all the time. If somebody brings in an old computer, wants to fix it up, okay, computer's worthless. It takes you $200 to fix it. You can buy a new machine these days for $250, $300. It's a lot smaller, a lot better, a lot faster. Is it the wise thing to fix the other one? So, if the computer gets about 8 to 10 years old, that's when it starts happening.
Sure.
And the answer is, if it costs you $10, $20 to get it going because of something stupid, yeah, maybe, if you like the machine, if it works for you. But if it don't work and it needs fix, don't fix the old one. Just put the money towards a new one.
Yeah.
But keep using it if it works. I don't care if the machine is 20 years old. If you play solitaire on it, there's still the job, and you can stand the CRT that's still on it or something. Fine. Why do you need to change? But what we do run into, it seems like, that people think that what they have is pretty good because when they bought it, it was $2,500 or something like that. So it's pretty good, and it's like, really a piece of junk now. It was good once,
right?
And then if it's slow, and you don't know that it's slow unless you have used something better.
Sure.
If you want to go by Albuquerque by horse and wagon or something like that, and you've never heard or seen a car,
sure.
Well, that's what you think.
Well, it's no different than if your left arm always hurt, and that's just the way it always is, and that's not normal, then you'd have no idea.
Right.
Same kind of deal.
Right. So, education, know what you're working with, know what's out there, and then make the right decision.
Absolutely. So, I just saw the time. Probably should be wrapping up here here a little bit. Kind of the lesson here is, when it comes to computer technology, this is where you need to, when something goes wrong, is like you said, measure the cost. Is the juice worth the squeeze here? It's
right.
Unfortunately, computers aren't like cars. Some of these cars don't get classic.
50-year-old car does just fine if it's in good condition and kept up.
And depending on the model, might hold its value or increase.
Right. You can drive that to get the assembly into Albuquerque without any problem.
Yeah. Now, computer will never do that because the technology
the computer,
changes
call the Windows 7, and you can't call your bank up no more or log into your bank because the bank knows what operating system you use, what browser you use, and said, that's unsafe, we don't let you in.
Sure.
Now that may be the same as maybe a horse and wagon. I don't think it's advisable to take your horse and wagon on I-40.
This is true. Yeah, it might not have the best of experiences there.
Probably it's not legal either.
I would imagine too, especially if you get on interstates.
Right.
Maybe some of them side roads.
A little side road, fine.
Yeah.
See, you use the old technology there with the old technology.
Well, every once in a great while, you'll see a horse going up and down Main Street. But you're right there. And so really, if you are having some computer issues and things, please see John and let him talk to you and say, you know what, I can fix it. But to be honest, I would recommend you invest your money
Bring
on a new
it in. We have a look at it. It's advisable to do before make buy a new one. We have people come in that want to buy a new one, and it's really why. You put that solid state drive in it, you got a good machine.
Absolutely. And I think you could build them a computer. You could customize it to do exactly what they want for a very affordable cost there.
Yeah, the problem is that what people want is nothing no more. They need internet. And,
right.
Any type of computer can do that.
Sure.
There's always this one thing that requires still the Windows, whatever.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't matter.
Well, and again, that's where John will ask you questions. What are you doing with this computer? You're watching a lot of movies on this thing. Okay, then we beefed up the video card. You playing, we got a sound card. Are you just doing banking and things? Okay, we don't need to beef up the graphics on here so much.
Biggest problem is still, we keep talking about it, forgotten the passwords, can't get into the account, lose the account. Somebody yesterday lost their account, can't get in.
Yeah, that's the key.
Right.
Write it down. Do whatever you got to do. There's multiple passwords. Some people like them, some don't. It's all preference on some of that stuff. But the more you stay on top of your passwords, the easier
your fix will be when something
becoming
goes wrong.
really to the point. Use a password manager.
Yeah. Even though I know we live in a world where you got 4-digit or 5-digit codes and face things or thumbprints. All of that is attached to a password, and if you don't know the password, that will bite you in the butt one day.
Right. What also brings you to the spot where it says if you forgot your password, we can email you. What means that the email protection, where nobody can get in it, good password on the email, may be more important than most people think.
Yeah. Because that allows you to reset the password.
Right, because if I can have access to your email because you didn't protect it real well, then I can go to your bank account and say, that doesn't work, let me reset it.
Yep.
And then, of course, have the two-factor authentication on top of it. If I can do that, and if I do get the email, it still may say, push this on your cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have your cell phone in my hand, and I'm stuck.
And then the robber's foiled.
But that part of computing is the real headache at the moment.
And I know some people complain about it, but to be honest, this is how we fix your identity from being stolen every 5 minutes.
Once you explain why it is, it's not as bad anymore.
Yeah,
we're
at a point, and it's sad, where if you do stuff on the internet, which is pretty much all of us, in some way, shape, or form with banking or anything, odds are not, are you going to get identity theft? It's when are you going to get identity theft?
It's almost to that point.
Yeah,
yes. It's not always your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, you bought something on some very
records
legit.
get stolen from somewheres that,
How many times you turn on the news and you see Target and Walmart and all these companies.
Hospitals, schools.
Yeah, lose all, get hacked into and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's a deal. So, don't come today, but come on by tomorrow, normally Monday through Friday, 8 to about noon is when he does service working there at the shop, taking customers off the street, things like that.
Right.
The afternoons are reserved for working on the big projects, or if he's got to do a office or house call for networking issues or something like that.
Or by special appointment.
Special appointment, yeah. Any of that stuff, that's when they handle. So don't hesitate to come by or reach out to John at Oasis Computers. Give out the phone number.
575-625-9141.
Leave a voicemail if you do not get John live. He will call you back if you leave a voicemail. He'll call everyone that says hi to John on the voicemail and gives them a way to get back. Told him he will return your call.
You may call in the afternoon too, especially if it's an emergency. If I'm around, I can most likely help redirect what I'm doing.
And that's something too, and that's the beauty with John too. Is he's got his set hours too. But if there's an emergency or something goofy, John's flexible enough to usually, if he's available, he'll take care of it.
If I'm caught up, let me put it that way, it's not too busy, I have opened the door up and put the open sign out in the afternoon because, may just as well pick up if somebody
drive by and say,
right.
Absolutely. But yeah, if you've got computer issues, bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you've got the blue screens of death or error codes, if you can take pictures of that or bring it in its state like that definitely helps John when he starts his investigative process to start looking and knowing where to look and all that good stuff. So. And then, of course, if you want new too, don't forget, John can help you whether you want to build a custom computer, whether it's laptop or a big PC, or if you need advice or information on the technology needed to kind of cut the cord.
And the technology is becoming inexpensive.
Absolutely.
We've been selling for $280 a whole system that is, for most people, better than the old one, even though it's the low end now, but we don't need much no more.
Sure.
So at $280, it's becoming a problem to sell used systems and fix them up.
Yeah. Well, and it's in a world too where it got competitive. I mean, now computers are competing with cell phones, because there's people that are making that decision. Do I want a cell phone or do I want a computer? And they're picking cell phone. You know what I mean? And so their competition's broadened. So
it turns out in most cases you may need both.
Yeah. But it forced computers and things prices to come down.
Right.
Competition. That's where competition's good.
And it's straightening all out. With the COVID, prices seem to have stabilized.
We're starting to get a steady supply of inventory.
We can seem to get what we want instead of take what we can get.
Or wait months for something that you're hoping
it's getting
will
better.
Yeah. Well, good deal, John. As always, safe travels today, and we'll see you next time here. And
okay.
And if there's anything we can do, give us a holler.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you.
John. All right. It is 7:55. Let's pause for news, your Kim Commando update, and also we'll get you Chaves County Sports Report brought to you
your
by
Pecos Valley
DSI.
News Update. Now, I'm Jared Cirillo. Did you feel that? The U.S. Geological Survey confirms a 4.1 magnitude earthquake struck this morning just before 4 a.m. The tremor centered about 9 miles south of the community of Atoka, New Mexico. At this point, we have no information to suggest damage or injuries. Roswell Animal Services is implementing a new policy to allow unaltered pets to go home with adopters with a sterilization agreement. Allowing pets to go home with community members before being spayed or neutered helps the city's animal services, currently being managed by Best Friends Animal Society to save more homeless pets in Roswell. The city says the new policy helps reduce the amount of time that a pet spends in the animal shelter, and that reduces stress due to confinement while also decreasing behavioral issues and the risk of contagious diseases. A public hearing scheduled for March 12th in Artesia regarding a couple of land subdivision ordinances, the first involving a final plat for Johnson family land, about 21 acres at 2877 Johnson Road. And the second ordinance is the final plat for Hawker & Sons Commercial Park on about 40 acres, separating that into 8 individual tracts. That land is located on Champion Street. The meetings are open to the public and will be held in the City Council chambers. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
I know in Eagles Pass and Shelby Park in Texas, as soon as they threw up the razor wire and they put up layer on top of layer on top of layer, well, guess what? Illegal immigration crossings in the area stopped by 99.9%. And now the illegal immigrants and the human trafficking, they've just decided to move west. They're going where it's more open and easier for people to get in. In other words, razor wire and border walls work. And we proved it under the Trump administration. Biden undid all of those successful policies. And now, is he going to bring them back? Well, that would be like having to admit you're wrong.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
Hey, you can give your home a new look this year with premium custom window treatments from our friends at Blinds.com. Right now, you save 40% off site-wide. Now, you can choose from Roman and woven wood shades and shutters. My favorite, their motorized options, and much, much more. It's all 100% online. The better way to shop. No pushy commission salespeople in your home. Blinds.com, they make it simple, easy. Anyway, you can do the measuring, the installation yourself, or you can let Blinds.com handle all of it for you. No matter how many window coverings or window treatments you have, you only pay one low installation cost, whether it's 1 or 50. How cool is that? And forget about going through a long, boring, monotonous in-home consultation just to get a quote. Blinds.com also gives you free shipping, and the best part, 100% satisfaction guarantee. What does that mean? If you're not happy, they will make it right. Anyway, shop Blinds.com right now. Save 40% off site-wide, 40% off for a limited time at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply. Bye.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on this weekend. We have a big high-pressure system covering all of the southern states, and that'll keep us fair, sunshine, and mid-60s for the afternoon high today. Mid-30s and a few clouds overnight, and then our warming trend will continue on Saturday. We'll be in the mid-70s. Looks like a nice day with sunshine, about 80 and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
On air and online, this is Roswell's home for talk radio, KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. A woman has been found dead on the University of Georgia campus.
This is a tragic day.
University of Georgia Police Chief Jeff Clark, who told WSB-TV that police discovered a body after a friend told them the woman had not returned from a Thursday morning run.
The individual was unconscious and not breathing and had visible injuries. Officers immediately began rendering medical aid
Police who don't have a suspect say the victim was a student at a nearby nursing school. I'm Shelley Adler.
Also at townhall.com, speaking to the NRB, former President Trump says America's greatest threat is not from any foreign country.
This time the greatest threat is not from the outside of our country. I really believe this. It's from within. It's the people from within our country that are more dangerous than the people outside. We can handle China. We can handle Russia. We can handle all of them if you have a smart leader. But the inside people are very dangerous. They're very sick people, in my opinion, in many cases. They're sick.
The former president speaking to the annual National Religious Broadcasters Convention last night in Nashville. AT&T says the hours-long outage Thursday to its U.S. cell phone network appeared to be the result of a technical error, not a malicious attack. 3 members of the University of Wyoming swimming and diving team killed in a highway crash in northern Colorado on U.S. 287, about 10 miles south of the Wyoming-Colorado line. The crash apparently happened when the driver swerved and went off the pavement, and the vehicle rolled multiple times. On Wall Street, the Dow had 130 points, and the NASDAQ is